this is Janie. Today I'm going to be going off topic to talk about Scientology. Most of my info today is from the documentary Going Clear by Alex Gibney, as well as several articles that feature former members of Scientology. You're also going to hear a lot of my personal opinions about this religion, and spoiler, they are not favorable. There's a lot of alleged violence, intimidation, and exploitation in this episode, and as per usual, I don't possess the ability to hold back how I feel. All this is to say, I am not interested in getting sued, so if you have something to say, check out my sources. They're in the show notes. I would also encourage people to check out the source Max included, which is a list of 6 signs that you're in a cult. It may not apply to you, but it applies to someone. I love you, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome to Sort of Off Topic. This is my beautiful and talented and very smart friend named Max, and you better fucking respect her.
Non-romantic life partner who I would kill or die for 1,000 times over. And if you can't respect her, then you can't respect me. And if you can't respect me, you better get ready for a mental sandwich, baby.
Hello and welcome
to an episode of
Sort of
Off Topic.
Sort of off topic. Sort of the story's sort of off topic. I don't know.
This story is sort of off topic.
All right, I'm Janie.
And I'm Max.
And this is the podcast that usually tells you fairy tales and folktales and mythology. And we love telling a good story. This is the series, though, where we go off topic and we talk about whatever the hell we're interested in talking about in that particular day.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to be telling you something today, Max.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Before we do that, you should know that Max is only about 80% here. About 20% of her was stolen today.
That's not true.
She's missing 20% of herself.
That's not math either.
20%. She shouldn't even be alive right now.
I donated platelets today.
20% of her body was made up of those platelets.
Nope.
Not how it works.
No.
Oh, all right.
It's actually so little. It's like I donate triple units because
Ooh, big spender.
Yeah, no, I'm a god among platelet donors. I donate triple units and it takes me less than an hour and a half, and that's fucking unheard of.
Okay.
But total, it's like this much. This is the amount of platelets
She's
that they get
holding
out of it.
up like a little notepad.
Yeah.
Like a little sticky pad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun. Well, yeah, so if you guys are like, I need a sign to go donate platelets, go do it. Be a god with Max.
Yeah.
Compare. Tell Max how
Try
many
and beat my
platelets.
time.
Tell Max how many platelets you donated in an hour and a half.
Genuinely, if that gets, like, platelet donation is something you can do it every week, and it literally saves lives. It goes to cancer patients and helps them, like,
I want to do
deal
it with you.
Yeah.
Make an appointment for me too.
Okay. So if you're up for it, then yeah, and you don't have to see the needles. You literally just hang out for like an hour and a half. My donation center has like an iPad that you can watch Netflix on. It's great.
You should also have
they give you
somebody
free
in there,
juice
like,
after
doing your hair. Be like, I'm sorry, I double booked.
This is what I keep saying. They would have so many donations if they set up like your car gets an oil change while you're in there, and also someone like does your fingernails and toenails.
Yeah.
Or like your taxes or whatever.
Yeah, they're definitely. See, last time you pitched it as somebody does your taxes while you donate platelets, and I'm like, well, that sounds like two horrible things. Not fun, not interested. But if I'm there and somebody's giving me a scalp massage and also somebody else giving me a pedicure, like, fuck yeah, take my platelets.
Yeah.
Honestly, at a regular nail salon, if they tried to take my platelets, I'd probably let them.
They're draining the toxins out of your body.
Here's a question for you. Sorry if you're like, I didn't come here for platelet talk. This isn't the topic, by the way.
These platelets, such small portions.
Okay, so if I have always been turned down for for blood donation because of low iron, does that matter with platelets?
No.
Okay, so good. Fucking, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
How fun. Take me with you. Take me with you.
They'll strap us to beds right next to each other. We can
I'm
just
sorry,
hang out.
strapped to beds gives me pause.
Beds.
That's not the issue. Strap was the
It's like a recliner. But you have to have your arms strapped down because you can't move them, or else you could get a needle in a bad place.
I got so itchy as you were telling me I couldn't move my arms. Like, that's real.
I was really worried that I would too, but then I didn't. None of this has anything to do with
Guys,
the sort of off topic.
Listen, if you want to go off topic with us and talk about more platelets, you can.
Tell us about your blood.
Yeah, tell us about your blood by joining the Patreon. Max, how do they do that?
Join the Patreon.
Anyway, There you have it.
You can join the Patreon at the link in the show notes for this episode and every episode. It's where we hang out with all of our listeners. $3 a month gets you access to the Discord, which is where we hang out with them, not the Patreon. The Patreon's how you get into the Discord. It's the key.
That's true. This is probably going to be coming out like September, right? But at the time that we're recording it, it is July 15th, and little baby B was born.
Baby B!
Our very, very dear Discord member, Vigilante Beekeeper, had her baby today. So, like, that's what we want to hear from you guys. We want you guys to give us life updates. Also, we
show us your story babies.
We feel like we know that story baby. That's our story baby.
That's our baby.
We love baby B. Anyway,
Hey, Brittany.
Brittany, we love your baby B. Did you see the person, Scribbles on the Discord said, "Oh, congratulations, Vigilante B, on baby B." And then, like, the next post was, "And Mr. B." Anyway, we love you. Join the Discord.
Yeah. If you want a little bit extra, also, for $7 a month, you can get access to the Discord plus a full-length bonus episode that's like a regular episode of the podcast, but bonuser.
It's so much more bonus.
Yeah. So that's like regular fairy tales, folk tales, not whatever bullshit we're doing today, which is
bullshit.
Off topic.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Go do it. There's lots of ways to hang out with us, but that's my favorite because the Discord is just amazing.
It's really good.
And before I begin on my excellent topic,
I'm very excited.
It's a really good one. Before I do that, though, if you could just quickly say, well, I love them, I don't need to hear anymore, and go on to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review, that would make me very happy.
Do it now because it's only going to get worse from here.
I don't know. Maybe I'll start a cult by the end of it. And then I'll get a bunch of 5-star reviews.
We already have several cults going.
You're no fun. We have another one. Max is like, suddenly,
you're making the other cults jealous.
Max is suddenly like, I don't like excess. That's why I gave away all my blood. Okay. Max, excellent plug.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. You're, say thank you. Thank you.
Fuck you.
All right, contrarian. I'm going to take a little quick break, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to tell you. I guess we'll take the break together.
No, I'm going to sit here silently while you take a break.
Good. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to tell you all about my off-topic.
I'm excited.
Okay. Okay, Max.
Okay, Janie.
Max, okay. So, speaking of the Discord, which we just were, the regular devil on Discord made a post a little while ago, and they said, hey, can one of you cover Scientology? Because my friend and I are talking about it, and we're realizing we don't know anything about Scientology. Which, if that isn't the thesis for why we did these off topics,
yes,
I don't know what is. We're like, we'll start talking about something and be like, oh, I don't know anything about that. That's where Fleetwood Mac came from.
Yeah.
That's why we all now know everything about Fleetwood Mac. Anyway, so Scientology was the request, and I've never been so excited to get any request in my whole life. I was like, I don't know anything about Scientology. I want to know everything. What a good excuse.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now I know a lot about it, and I'm worse. Oh, fuck, I'm worse.
Hell yes.
That's why I begged Max today to record. I was like, I've been doing nonstop research on Scientology for maybe like 72 hours straight. It's been like a long, like, nonstop, like 12-hour stretches of just being at, like, researching without breaks. Like, I've been bad.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I went a little crazy.
I did kind of get the impression when I got home that you needed to tell me about it or it was only going to get worse. So
I would have just kept doing it.
Yes.
Anyway, so most of the information that I'm going to be telling you is from the documentary Going Clear, Scientology and the Prison of Belief by Alex Gibney. It is a documentary that features a lot of former Scientology members, but specifically like high executive Scientology members who got out after like 30, 40 years in Scientology running shit. So it's very good.
Executive Scientologist sounds like the kind of job that a child would make up.
Oh, Max, does it? Does it sound like the sort of job that a child would be like, wow, I bet I could read that in a book somewhere?
Yep.
Interesting you should say that.
Uh-oh.
Let's get into it. Well, before that, I also got a bunch of info from like random articles, all that stuff. I've listed them all in the show notes, but there's too many of them to list now. So
yeah,
just know.
Read out all the URLs.
Read all about it. Okay. Max, what do you know about Scientology?
Tom Cruise is in it.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman's not in it anymore.
Yeah. Good.
Elizabeth Moss in it. Mm-hmm. I know it's a lot of wealthy people. Chris Pratt, I think?
No, I actually looked that up. No, he's very Christian. There's like a specific like Hollywood Christianity that's separated from this. But no, he's not in Scientology. Also, the first thing was like, he's not in Hillsong either. And he was like, I'm not in Hillsong either. So just so you know, Chris Pratt, also not in Hillsong.
Wait, is he in Hillsong?
No.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Hillsong's like the people who like protest, like, bro, they're like, gays are going to hell.
Oof.
Yeah.
Other things I know about Scientology. I brushed up against it when I was researching the Illuminati a lot. There's a lot of shared territory there.
Sure.
Tom Cruise has a middle tooth.
Oh,
and every time I think about Scientology, I think about that. And I don't know how, but I think that's probably Scientology's fault.
You think they could fix that?
Yeah. I've seen the Community episode where they mess around about Scientology with Pierce, and he gets like a lava lamp full of his
sperm. Oh no,
his
his
spirit
mother's
essence.
It's his mother's soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also do a full episode on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Remember the
Boom Boom?
Boom Boom. I almost said Bang Bang.
Bang Bang. That's that one feels more like an MLM kind of thing.
No, because they do
where
is the guy's wife?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So she knows a lot. Is the answer. Okay, so the founder of Scientology. Any idea?
Jonathan
Taylor Thomas. You're right.
Science-y.
That would be more believable than the rest of this thing I'm going to tell you.
Is it Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
It's Jonathan Taylor Thomas, the founder of Scientology. No. The founder of Scientology was L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh, I did know that.
Yeah.
I always confuse him with L. Ron Howard.
There's a Ron Howard. There's no L. Ron Howard.
There isn't. Well, now I know I was confused.
You just did a movie mashup. L. Ron Howard is hilarious.
Well, I've been confusing them this entire time, so.
Or just like combining them.
Yeah,
okay.
That's one guy.
L. Ron Hubbard was born March 13th, 1911 in Tilden, Nebraska. Yeah. March 13th makes him a Pisces?
He's whatever my mom is. Pisces, yeah. I would love to be on the tourism board for Tilden.
Oh my God. Like, birthplace of.
I don't want to see you till then.
Oh. All right, well, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
What if they're like, our mascot is Tilden Swinto? All right.
Weird mascot. I'm just picturing a person in a mascot costume, and the mascot looks like Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, it's like the person in the costume is L. Ron Howard.
L. Ron Howard.
L. Ron Howard could be the Mexican version of Ron Howard. Okay, we have to stop. We have to get through this. Okay. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. And you might not make it.
His daughter is Bryce El Paso Howard.
La Bryce Howard. Okay, sorry. L. Ron Hubbard, born in Tilden, Nebraska, 1911. Before he founded the Church of Scientology, he was a prolific writer, and he was a lover of science fiction. He wrote mostly pulp fiction novels, getting paid a penny per word. And eventually he began writing for a magazine called Astounding Science Fiction. A lot of what eventually became Scientology doctrine started out as elements in his sci-fi stories. And he actually holds the Guinness World Record for most books published. It's over 1,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He was writing, and he was a contemporary of Isaac Asimov. Also H.P. Lovecraft, like all of those like big pulp fiction, like horror sci-fi writers. He was one of them.
I'm honestly kind of more surprised that he has the record and that the record is that low.
I think so too, but he still holds it. It's currently
That's
still
crazy.
holding it. He also has the record for the Guinness World Record for the most books translated, most non-religious texts translated in the world.
That's crazy.
Yeah. L. Ron Hubbard, he broke barriers. During World War II, Hubbard briefly commanded 2 Navy ships, so he was in the military. He wrote stories about his heroism. He claimed that he sunk 2 Japanese submarines, and he was just like, I was this big war hero, and then I had to leave because I was, like, injured.
How big was he?
He was gigantic. The biggest fucking war hero you've ever seen.
80 feet tall. 90.
90 even. 90 in heels.
90 in 10-foot heels.
If you were 80 feet tall, 10 feet heels doesn't sound like it would be that. Well, I guess maybe it would be. Okay. In reality, Max.
Yeah.
He was the commander of 2 Navy ships, but he actually opened fire on a log off the coast of Oregon. And then they were like, okay, you can't be on this ship no more. So they gave him a new ship. And then he dropped a bunch of depth chargers on underwater magnetic rocks. And they were like, you're so bad at that. Why are you so bad at your job? And then they finally had it with him when he accidentally shot at a Mexican island. And he was, quote, relieved of his command.
I bet the Mexican island was also relieved.
We don't want him. We don't want him in charge no more. Thanks. After the war, so he got out.
Uh-huh.
After the war, he moved to Los Angeles, where he fell in with a group led by Jack Parsons. We need to do a whole off topic.
The Big Bang Theory? No.
Jack. Is it Parsons?
I think it's Jim Parsons.
Jim Parsons. What if he was it would be insane if he was a descendant of Jack Parsons. We need to do an off topic about Jack Parsons, just so you know.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a quick rundown, and I swear this is as quick as I could possibly make it. His real name was Marvel Parsons.
Oh.
Yeah, his name was Marvel. Also, he was hot. Just keep that in mind. He was hot. His name was Marvel. He went by Jack. I disagree. According to Wikipedia, because again, I'm not doing research on this, he might have an off topic later. Jack Parsons was a rocket engineer. He was a chemist, and he was a Thelemite occultist.
Oh, what?
A Thelemite occultist? I'll go into it in a minute. Parsons was one of the principal founders of both the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, the JPL, and Aerojet. He founded both.
Huh.
He invented the first rocket engine to use a castable composite rocket propellant. Sounds smart. Mm-hmm. And he pioneered the advancement of both liquid fuel and solid fuel rockets. So he was already what the fuck? A hugely smart guy. But he was also a Thelemite occultist, which meant that he followed the cult of Thelema, founded by Aleister Crowley.
Isn't the Thelema the part of the brain?
I have no idea. I'm not as smart as Marvel Parsons.
You're only normal Parsons.
He was married to a woman named Helen Northrup, and together they joined Crowley's Ordo Templi Orientis, which is OTO, in Los Angeles. Okay, him and his wife. Eventually, he became the California OTO branch leader in 1942. A year before this, he had started having an affair with his wife's sister, Sarah Northrup. No. Yeah, so he's this weird little love triangle. He was kicked out of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory because of his involvement with OTO. They're like, you can't be the leader of a weird satanic sex cult, which is what it is. Mm-hmm. They're like, you can't be the leader of a satanic sex cult and also
a rocket lab.
And also a rocket scientist, I guess.
Says who?
How far
Show me where in the rule book.
I really like the idea of satanic sex pest and then also rocket scientist being on your resume and tombstone. Mm-hmm. But he was also kicked out because of his hazardous laboratory practices, which I think is more important.
Yes.
His cause of death is listed as explosion. I didn't look any more into it. I love him.
Oh my God.
He kind of looks like Tony Stark's dad, and his name is Marvel, and he exploded. This isn't about him. Somehow that's not my off topic, but it should be.
Explosion just doesn't seem like it should be allowed to be a cause of death.
I was on Wikipedia and I was
spontaneous disassembly.
It should be something.
Yeah.
But literally it says in his little bio on the side, the
cause of death.
It was born this time, spouses, this person, death, explosion. I was like, fuck.
That's really good.
Anyway, L. Ron Hubbard got really close with Jack Parsons, okay? They were really good friends. He was there for the entirety of, the beginning of this cult in L.A. Too close, really. He ended up stealing his girlfriend, Sarah, his wife's sister. He stole her. And he also defrauded Jack Parsons of his life savings. So they stole everything from him and then ran.
Huh.
And then Jack Parsons exploded.
Oh, no!
Sarah was completely enamored with L. Ron Hubbard. He was 13 years older than her, and he was talked about himself a lot, and he played up himself, and he talked about how heroic he was in the war, and she was a girl during World War II, Yeah. So she was very easily impressed by this, I think. He told her he had been horrifically injured while in combat. He was like, I had my back broken, and then I was blinded by the sun at one point, and I spent weeks on a raft after my ship went down in the Pacific. And again, I don't even think he made it like farther than Mexico, where he tried to shoot Mexico, and then he was sent back. Okay, so he would tell all these same stories to his followers in Scientology later. These are the stories that they all currently believe. And he would claim that the church practices that he invented cured him of all these ailments. He's like, the only reason why I am not still blind and why I have all this stuff is because of Scientology.
I like the idea that he was like, I was blinded by the sun because I was staring at the sun.
I was blinded by the light. That song was written for me.
Just
yeah, you know that in the military they don't often make you stare at the sun.
No, that doesn't sound like that would be one of your orders.
I am not an expert on World War II military history, though.
Well, fortunately, you could ask literally any man.
Oh, that's true. Hey, do we have any men? No. So, of course, all of these things that he was saying are provable lies.
Yes.
According to his 900-page military records, the worst injury he had sustained in his military career was pink eye. I'm sure that sucked.
He got the old poop eye.
He got poop eye. And also, he had mild arthritis, which who doesn't?
You were going to say mild diarrhea.
Pink eye, mild diarrhea.
He didn't even have, like, the regular stuff. It was, like, just a little bit.
Not enough that you should have been talking about it.
No, we didn't ask him.
Stop it.
He just told us.
It didn't take long for his personality to change after they ran away together, and the relationship turned really abusive really fast. It's gonna get serious. The two eloped after Sarah said that he threatened to kill himself if she didn't marry him. So she did, because she believed him. She wrote about him a lot. So they don't have any of her, like, she died before they started doing any of these interviews about him, but she wrote about him a lot. And so, like, a lot of this is taken directly from her writings. She said that one night he hit her because she had smiled in her sleep, and he was convinced that she was dreaming of another man. God. Yeah, that's just the sort of person that he was.
The fragility.
The fragility.
Mamma mia.
Just insanity. At this, you know what? I need to put in a disclaimer. I forgot about this in the very beginning. Everything I'm going to tell you is from the documentary. It's all hearsay, and a lot of it is alleged, and I don't want to be contacted by anybody in Scientology about it. Thank you. Genuinely terrified. Genuinely terrified. We might be in actual trouble.
Nah.
All right. At this point, he started telling her that the only way to make real money was to have a religion. She wrote this a lot. He was like, I want to have real money. The only way you can do that is to have a religion. He wanted to make money that the government couldn't tax away. He became obsessed with religious tax exemption. Mm-hmm. So he started writing a book on Dianetics. This is what he called it.
Diuretics?
Diarrhea. Just a little. A little. He started writing a book on Dianetics. It was filled with things he had previously wrote about in his pulp fiction novels, so he was just pulling from his sci-fi. The basic concept of Dianetics was that it was a new form of psychological treatment. Its aim was basically to relieve disorders by cleansing the mind of harmful memories and harmful images. So the core of it was basically just Freudian psychology. If you have childhood trauma that's holding you back, you have to confront that trauma, acknowledge it, and move on from it, which is all therapy now. Right? Don't ignore your childhood trauma. We have to work through it. According to Dianetics, you have two sides of your brain. You have an analytical side that is like a flawless computer that never makes mistakes. It's just the thing that records. And you also have a reactive side of your brain, which is filled with all of your neuroses, your anxieties, and your fears. These neuroses come from engrams, which are basically memories. Mm-hmm. You want to get rid of these engrams, these memories, to rid yourself of all of those bad things that are inside of your mind. You're trying to get rid of the reactive side of your mind.
You're trying to leach out the toxins.
Kind of, yeah.
From your brain.
Yes, and your toxins are all of your memories.
All of your memories and your personality and your experiences. Sure.
Forget about that.
This guy should watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
He should. Also that one Ariana Grande music video.
What?
Yeah, starring Evan Peters. That's the guy she's trying to forget. He's very cute in it. He's very cute in everything. Okay, so how do you do this? How do you get rid of these engrams? Through auditing. You sit with an auditor. It's not what you think.
You get hooked up to a machine. They do your taxes.
And then all of a sudden, life's better. I'm not going to be fooled. Okay, no. In auditing, you sit with an auditor who uses a lot of the same techniques that hypnosis does. So it's like a mix between therapy and hypnosis. They ask you a bunch of questions and they take you through these traumatic memories. And then they make you describe them again and again and again until eventually they don't hold weight anymore. It's like, not exposure therapy, but like,
Yeah.
it's kind of exposure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly like a therapy session in this sense, right?
Like desensitizing you to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, with Dianetics, the entire time you're talking to the auditor, you're hooked up to an e-meter. You're holding onto 2 metal cylinders, so like 2 little cans, one in each hand, and they're connected by wires to a little box that has a needle that moves whenever you think about something important. They describe it as being 1/3 of a lie detector.
What?
The e-meter is supposed to detect the mass of your thoughts. There's no scientific evidence that there's any mass to your thoughts. Your thoughts don't have weight. But basically, the more upset you get, the more the needle moves because it's like reacting to, I guess, your heart rate, I'm guessing, if you're holding it.
Oh, actually, I've read about this and I do know how it works.
Okay.
It measures these like subsonic frequencies that are produced when you're upset and your brain goes, ee! Your brain goes, ee!
And it's like, hey, wait, stop there. Why is your brain going?
Somebody's squealing.
Something in your brain is squealing like a pig. Classic e-meter. It's actually E meter. So the more upset you're getting, the more the needle's moving. Okay. And then when the needle moves, the auditor will focus on that thought until you eventually, quote, discharge that emotion. So that's like the science part of it, right? They're actually hooking you up to a machine. Mm-hmm. After that incident is dealt with, the auditor tells you to go back a little further. What else have you experienced? Like, have you ever experienced anything similar to this? Okay. So the example that they gave is if you've just had an argument with your spouse, you go in and you're like, I'm just mad. And they're like, why are you mad? And you're like, because I've been arguing with my spouse. And they're like, well, let's talk about it. And you'll talk about it to death. Right. And then after you've kind of desensitized yourself to that moment of arguing with your spouse, they're like, hey, let's go back a little bit further. Have you ever had an incident that was similar? And then as you're thinking, the needle will spike and they'll be like, wait, stop there. What did you just think about? And they'll say, I guess I was thinking about my mom. And it's like, what about your mom? And they're like, well, my mom used to yell at me for this. And they're like, well, let's talk about that. Why did your mom yell at? What incident are you thinking of specifically? And then you'll go through all of your childhood, right? Again, very similar to just talk therapy. With Dianetics, though, you don't stop once you've used up all your childhood trauma. If they're like, yeah, that's it. That's the only time I think we cracked it. They're like, okay, so keep going back. And then you'll say, well, that's it. I'm out of memories. And they're like, no, let's keep going back. And they're like, I can't go back. There's nothing left. And they're like, let's keep thinking. Just sit with your thoughts for a second. Let's think. And then the needle will spike again as you're thinking. And they'll say, stop there. What did you just see? And you might say, I don't know. I saw a picture of a barn. And you're like, a barn? What color was the barn? Like, it was like a red barn. Oh, where do you think it is? I don't know. I guess France. And they're like, France. So like a barn in France. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. And they'll just keep taking you back. And they're like, what time period are you in? And you'll say, 1900s in France. Let's keep going with that. And then they'll basically just keep going back until suddenly they're like, you are actually reliving your past lives. All of this is something that has happened to you before because you've been here before. Now let's work through that trauma that you experienced in a past life. And if you think you finished with that one, you haven't. Let's go back further.
Oh my God.
So needless to say, people come out of this auditing experience feeling euphoric, right? Confession, I grew up Catholic, okay? Confession can be fucking addicting. Just the way that therapy can be addicting. Just the way that venting with your friends can be addicting. Because you're releasing a secret, right? Or you're releasing your emotions, you're releasing your feelings, right? So you come out of it being like, I really enjoyed that, and I actually do feel lighter. But these auditing sessions created a sense of dependency that most people hadn't experienced before. So you remember, he is starting this in like the 50s, okay? So most people haven't gone to therapy before. They don't know that, anything like that. And so they couldn't wait to go back for more because they felt like it was actually helping them because they're actually, for the first time, talking about their trauma. The goal of these sessions was to eventually become clear. According to L. Ron Hubbard, once clear, quote, the individual has erased his reactive mind. His unconscious mind is gone. He is totally alert and totally capable. If this happened, he promised that you would physically be cured of things like bad eyesight and asthma. He also said that your IQ would raise once you were completely clear of all your trauma. I Here's the problem. Up until this point, I don't 100% disagree with this. Okay? I know the ideas of like past lives is insane. And I actually have met people who have thought like this. I'm not going to tell you that you don't have a past life. I'm not going to tell you not to believe in things like karma and all that stuff, right? But I also believe that it is possible to get physically better if you feel mentally better. You know, maybe not like eyesight and asthma, but like if you have pains in your body, then yeah, after like a good therapy session, suddenly my back felt better,
Yeah.
you know, because you're relieving yourself of stress. So this is what I think that he's selling to people, and they are experiencing real results.
Yeah.
Also, you feel smarter. So he wrote a book called Dianetics, The Modern Science of Mental Health, and it was an immediate success. Books flew off the shelf. He was on the New York Times bestseller list. He was making a ton of money. Like, he was like living large. And according to his wife, Sarah, he started to give all these talks and making even more money because people were paying to hear him talk, and he really liked hearing himself talk. And in her writings, she said that he was putting false memories into people's minds. She was like, this is bullshit. I know this is bullshit because I've heard the whole talk about how he just wants to make money. So, like, just so you know, he doesn't believe this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it became not all bullshit to him. He began to believe everything he was saying. Like, he bought into all of his stuff. He became convinced that he had a cure for the psychological ills of the mind. He started to write to psychiatric organizations. He was like, hey, I want you to recognize Dianetics as a valid form of psychiatry. And everybody wrote back and they were like, this is insane. They called it pseudoscience. They're like, this isn't real. We're kind of baffled by this. This sounds like a science fiction novel that you're writing. And he's like, okay, is that only because you know I'm a science fiction writer? They're like, kind of.
That's part of it for sure.
L. Ron Hubbard believed that the only reason everybody wasn't doing this was because the government was invested in keeping people sick.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I also kind of believe that. I don't believe that's the reason why Dianetics wasn't recognized, but I also believe that the government has a vested interest in making money off of certain things.
Yeah, capitalism and like the capitalist basis of the American government means that the government benefits when big companies make money.
Yeah, just like and our healthcare system is kind of designed to keep people sick.
Yes.
Anyway, this is the problem with reading this, though, is I was like, all of this, I could see where you're walking yourself up there, and then I see where I diverge.
Yes, and that's good. Yeah. We've talked before about like how conspiracy theories and everything work, and the reason why they work is because they are based on accepted truths or things that, you know, people at least already inherently believe.
Yeah.
And then they combine those things and they add in like a couple of things that are questionable but like line up with the earlier points or whatever. And then they're like, and here it is, the twist, the big secret. And now you're in on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's how.
Wait until you hear the big secret twist that you're going to be in on. We're not going to find that out for years.
Oh, no.
Oh, but I got it. Okay. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, he's gaining more and more success. L. Ron Hubbard is getting more and more mentally ill himself. He was already pretty bad.
That's because he's leeching off of the engrams of his followers.
He's probably absorbing them because he's such a martyr.
Yes.
What a hero.
He's traumatizing himself for our sins.
Thank you, L. Ron Hubbard. Honestly, if you had said anything like that next to this man, he would have absorbed that and been like, that's exactly what's happening.
Yes.
Sarah eventually gave him an ultimatum, right? She was like, I can't do this anymore. She said, you have to get psychiatric help or we're going to get divorced. That's your choice. You either have to go to see actual professionals or we can't be married anymore.
Women.
Instead, he was like, I'm going to choose option C. He kidnapped their baby daughter and he took her to Cuba with him. According to the documentary, he then handed his daughter over to a mother and daughter in Cuba, who I guess were mentally ill themselves, and they put her in a little cage. And that's where she was for a little while.
What?
In like a cage in Cuba. He then called his wife and told her over the phone that he had murdered their daughter and cut her into little pieces and dumped the pieces into the river. And he was like, this is all your fault.
So clearly, I don't need psychiatric help.
Actually, and you shouldn't divorce me. I'm a catch. A little while later, he called her back and he was like, I'm just kidding. She's still alive. And then he called her back after that and was like, actually, I murdered her and this is how I did it. And then he called her back and was like, she's actually still alive. And he did this over and over and over again. And she had no recourse into getting her kid back. And she also didn't know if she was alive or dead. Eventually, he did come back to the States and he brought their daughter. And Sarah somehow convinced him to give her a divorce and full custody of the child. I think she was like, you obviously can't take care of a kid. I will leave you alone and we won't ask you for anything. Just like, why don't you just hand her over? And then he did that. So good for her. He did clear out all their bank accounts so that she wouldn't have any money. But it's okay because he lost all of his money soon anyway. Dianetics, it turns out, was a passing fad. It didn't last. So he went back to focusing on the thing that he had wanted to do in the first place, which was
tax fraud.
Have his own religion. Yes, Max, you're getting it. He created Scientology using Dianetics as his Bible. And they still kind of see it as like the Bible, basically. The equivalency. He began to set up payment plans for people to do auditing sessions. The more you did, the more you moved up into different levels. And each level got more and more expensive until people were just paying thousands of dollars to advance to the next level. A pyramid scheme.
Some sort of, like a conical, three-dimensional upwards motion scheme of like, it keeps getting smaller.
Yeah.
Steeper.
It's weird until you're at top with me. I'm going to show you the chart after I have to get through a couple more things. I'm going to show you the chart. Bananas.
I'm so excited.
I spent too long looking at the chart. I'm not going to lie. Went a little crazy. He applied to become a church so he could be tax exempt, but he was denied. The IRS discovered that he had been using funds for his own personal use and therefore didn't qualify. They're like, no, you're getting paid for this. So no, you're not a church.
You're a man.
You're just a man. He became more and more paranoid at this point. It's worth noting that Sarah claimed in 1951 that he had been evaluated by some professionals and they had diagnosed him with paranoid schizophrenia and they had recommended lifelong hospitalization.
Sure.
Now, this is in the 50s. I'm sure that they were lifelong hospitalizing everyone, but still. But his paranoia, Max, it wasn't completely unfounded. He was being investigated by the IRS.
Sure.
And the FBI.
Yeah.
So he needed to get
he did call from Cuba to be like, I chopped up a baby. No, I didn't.
Yes,
I ate the baby. No, I didn't.
She's in a cage. That's true.
Or is it?
Woohoo, it is.
She's in a cage, but she's dead.
She's in the cage,
but
dead
alive.
and being eaten by me.
I'm a rat. I'm a little rat, and I'm in the cage, and I'm eating her. And I'm eating her, and now I'm the baby, and she's a rat, and she's eating me.
This might sound crazy, but it's just my past lives. Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard.
In a past life, that baby ate me.
L. Ron Hubbard is
and I was a
losing
rat.
Yes, you were. All right, so he needed to find someplace safe.
So you checked a cage in Cuba.
I'm sure that mother and daughter will let you in the cage in Cuba.
Yeah.
Go check. Well, this is going off the rails. He ended up buying a fleet of 3 ships, and he sent out secret invitations to all the highest-ranking, most dedicated people on the Scientology staff. Because, again, he had grown a lot, right? Or his organization.
How big was he now?
90 feet. 100 with heels. No, so the organization had grown a lot, and so now he had people on staff. So he sent out these secret invitations, and they basically said, hey, you are now being invited to be part of Sea Organization, SEA, like the Sea. Sea Organization. They call it Sea Org. And like 100 people came and they were put onto these ships. They were given like weird uniforms that were all tattered and shit like that, but like sea uniforms, like clearly used. And then they were just like hand scrubbing every inch of the ship and like swabbing the decks and shit. And then together they took off into international waters. What started out as just his private navy is now the organization today that manages all of Scientology. Sea Org is the top executives, basically.
Huh.
Yeah. Members sign a billion-year contract. And they are expected to dedicate their lives and all subsequent lives to the church. Thoughts on the billion-year contract?
I know that it didn't, this isn't proposing like a Buddhist style of reincarnation where you can come back as anything, but that is what I'm picturing.
Just a bunch of little snails.
Yeah, I'm just picturing a lawyer like lecturing a hedgehog being like, you signed an agreement!
And the little hedgehog just holding a little hedgehog baby like, Okay, so the members of Sea Org are told that they are saving the world.
Yeah.
Yes? What happened?
Nothing. I just had a thought.
Oh.
Do you think...
Hold on, stop at the thought. Describe it. The e-meter's going crazy, Max.
Do you think that you could make an argument that someone did not have the legal faculties to sign the argument because in another life they were a baby?
I think that they would be like, yeah, as a baby, you signed a billion-year contract. I don't think you could get out of it just because you're a baby. This organization doesn't care if you're a baby. Okay, so the Sea Org members are told that they are saving the world, and so most of them genuinely cannot wait to sign this billion-year contract. They kind of scrap, fight and scrap and scrape and scroop. They really want that contract. It's a really high honor. So on this initial voyage, he began telling people that he had discovered his past lives in auditing sessions. And in his past lives, he had been a Venetian prince, and he had buried a bunch of treasure on the coasts of the Mediterranean Sea. And so they began to search for all of this buried treasure that his past self had shown him, right? Mm-hmm. That's what they thought they were doing, and they were all fine with it.
And none of these people have jobs.
No, they get paid today, currently. The lower level Sea Org members get paid 40 cents an hour. Back then, they got paid 6 cents an hour.
Huh.
He also began to write punishments. He thought that was something that they were missing. If auditors made mistakes, they were pushed overboard into the sea. I don't think anyone died, but who the fuck knows? They were forced to walk the plank.
This really feels like he saw a movie and was like, we're about pirates now.
Now we're doing this. Eventually, in the 1970s, his ship was banned from docking anywhere in the Mediterranean. They were like,
leave us alone.
Okay, so he was banned from going anywhere in the Mediterranean, so he went back to the States. He snuck ashore in Florida. He basically was like, I hope nobody sees me. In the dead of night, he ran back onto shore. And then he hid from the public for the rest of his life. Nobody saw him in public again, ever. But he wasn't gone, Max. He was getting in touch with his creative side. L. Ron Hubbard, at this point, became interested in directing and making movies. He wanted to go to Hollywood.
Wasn't he already in Hollywood?
No, remember he went to Florida, and now he was like, Florida sucks.
No, but he was already in Hollywood earlier?
He was in LA before. And now he's going back. So he set up his new Scientology center in Hollywood. While he wasn't seen in public anymore, his members saw him all the time on film sets. Eventually, because he was making all of these movies, more and more celebrities began going to auditing sessions because they were meeting him and his followers and being like, I guess I could get audited. They had Leonard Cohen, Rock Hudson, and members of famous bands like the Grateful Dead, right? Those were kind of the early people that jumped in. At this point, they were like, we need to capitalize on this because celebrities means more people will see this as something that is viable for them. So they created the Scientology Celebrity Center, and they used all these big names to lure people in. This is around the time that they got John Travolta.
Oh, Christ.
He had been given a...
What?
Yeah.
How did I not know this?
Oh my God, you didn't know this?
No.
So sorry. This
wasn't in my list of things I knew about Scientology.
John Travolta was their first gigantic member, and to this day, he was 1,100 feet tall. 1,500 in heels. I remember I realized that he was part of Scientology. I first learned it when his son died. He had a baby. He and his wife had a baby, and he ended up dying as a toddler. And it was so sad. He was always sick, and they blamed not them, but the public, the media was like, this is because of fucking Scientology. Because apparently after his baby died, they weren't giving him any medical attention. They were like, we can actually cure him with a lot of the stuff that is in Scientology. And then he ended up dying. And it was they genuinely believed it. But I think that was, again, I could be talking out of my ass from this part, but I think that was when his wife, she was a Presley. Who is she?
Oh, not Stella.
Anyway, I think that was when she pulled out of Scientology, I think, was when she was like, wait, hold on. My child died. You said that he would be fine, and he wasn't. Yeah. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about some of the details of that, but that was when I first learned that he was a Scientologist, which is a really sad story. I also love John Travolta. I really do. I just can't help it. Okay, so John Travolta had been given a copy of Dianetics, the book, when he was doing like a low-budget film in Mexico. At this point, he was kind of he was like a new actor. He was just beginning. And then when he got to the States, he was like, well, I'm in LA anyway. Maybe I'll sign up for some auditing sessions because I read this book and I like what it's saying. So he started going to more and more sessions, and he's using some of the practices that he learned in the book. And then he started booking more and more jobs. He had this like magnetism about him, right? I mean, if you've ever seen anything John Travolta's in, he's the most dynamic person in the world. Can you imagine him in any background role? He's too dynamic.
Yeah.
He's just a beautiful, funny, happy person. Like he kind of sucks all the energy, or he exudes all the energy in the room.
I recently watched a classic film called The Long Goodbye.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Pulp Fiction.
No, well, also, but no, I recently watched a classic film called The Long Goodbye, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is an extra in it.
Is he
fucking crazy?
That's insane.
Yeah, it's
did he make sense as an extra? Because he exudes energy.
No, he was in like a room full of people who were all in like, it was like gang operation, whatever, like the gangsters in LA in the 60s or whatever. And one of them's just Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Gorgeous Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And he's fucking huge.
Yeah.
He's like...
That had to have been like the very beginning of his bodybuilding, like when he was still primarily a bodybuilder.
Yes.
Yeah, he was fucking
yeah,
beautiful and wonderful, and another person who just exudes all of the energy. Again, can't imagine these people not succeeding, right?
Yeah. It just made me laugh because they were like thug number 3. And I was like, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What do you mean thug number 3? Okay. So eventually, he was spending so much money getting these auditing sessions, and he was bringing in so many new people because he was getting more famous, that they assigned him a liaison, a woman named Spanky Taylor.
No!
Her real name is Sylvia, but she went by Spanky.
That sounds like a ventriloquist dummy.
Spanky Taylor does sound like a ventriloquist dummy. Okay, so Spanky had signed the billionaire contract. I have to say that again without laughing.
No, you can't.
Spanky had signed the billion-year contract to be part of Sea Org.
Oh, God. Now Sea Org's got Spanky for 1 billion years.
Prepare to get spanked. That was her. I hope she screamed that at everyone.
I also hope that.
She didn't. She seems so lovely. She's a big talking head in this documentary, and she's 11 billion feet wide.
Are you guys enjoying this bit?
I'm realizing how often I describe somebody as being really big.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying this bit. Okay, so Spanky was in constant communication with John Travolta, right? Because she was his liaison.
The old Spanky liaison.
Prepare to get spanked. Okay. Her job was basically to make Scientology his entire life. She was like, hey, if you're doing this, let's sign you up for this. If you're doing this, I know this person, let's have this. Like, she was basically making sure that every aspect of his life included Scientology in it. So the two became really good friends. They talked basically every single day. He attended her wedding like they were friends. In the documentary, Spanky Taylor said she didn't believe that John Travolta actually believed in Scientology at first. She's like, around this time, we were really good friends. We were talking more and more. And he was using the practices of Dianetics, but he wasn't like a religious, right?
Yeah.
But she said that he had gained so much confidence from this. And eventually that confidence turned into kind of a fear that if he left and stopped doing this, then he would lose everything he had gained. And so it became this thing where he was like kind of more anxious about not doing it than actually believing the doctrines behind it.
Mm-hmm.
In Spanky's words, she said, everything good that happened to you was because of the church. Everything bad that happened to you was your fault. That was how the church, the Scientology operated.
So just to be clear, she was like, he didn't really believe it. He just thought that if he left, and she's there like, if you leave.
And if you leave, then
I don't know why
it'll be bad.
And you're useless.
And actually, we're the good ones.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought that, though.
So John Travolta is moving up in the levels of Scientology. They call all of the levels the bridge to total freedom, or just the bridge. This is the picture. I'm putting the picture in our show notes. There are so many classes. It's impossible to decipher. There are 4 just in the beginning that aren't classed. They're just the prerequisites. Then there are classes 1 through 13. After you graduate from all the classes, you move to the grades, which go from grade 0 to grade 4. Then you have a couple of named courses that I don't understand, at which point you're supposed to be clear. Okay. And remember, being clear is you've gotten rid of all of your past like trauma, and all of those engrams are supposed to be gone.
Yeah.
So Max is looking at this. I haven't even finished the charts.
What I'm seeing here is that they have found a way. That's an eagle.
Don't scroll. You'll see my hot bird pics.
They have found a way to do standardized testing to making someone crazy.
Yeah, it's just...
I just zoomed in. There's a professional product debug course in here. Hubbard Group Auditor course, Children's Communication course, Basic Study Manual, blah, blah, blah. Case Supervisor, Basics of Listing and Rolling Graduate.
None of the
Student
language...
hat?
Wait, hold on. I gotta show you.
Student hat?
The whole thing kind of looks like a nutritional information guide.
Yeah.
But... at a certain point, you have a flubless class 6 auditing.
Flubless?
Flubless.
Flubless. St. Hills?
Yeah, that's the location, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Where obtained. And then flubless teaches about...
not flubs, I'll tell you that much.
If you want to know more about being flubless, you're going to have to go to the class. Anyway... an insane amount of classes, insane amount of information that is impossible to read on this chart.
No, that it looks like the world's most complicated like certification course to being insane.
Okay, so if you've finished all of the grades, all the stuff, and you have made it to clear, it says clear, certainty, rundown, right? Mm-hmm. You are not done.
Of course, why would you be?
Yes, because then you begin obtaining operating VTIN, or OT levels. According to Scientology... Overtime. No, basically. These are your OT levels.
Sunshine rundown.
Sunshine rundown, you're flubless. Sundown. Okay. According to Scientology, a VTIN is a spiritual being. So now you are taking classes as a spiritual being.
That sounds awful.
It's honestly, all of this sounds terrible. And I love school. I've gone to it several times. You can go all the way up to OT 15. Mm-hmm. The higher up you're going, remember, the more money you're paying.
Sure.
They start out, these introductory ones that like don't have any things, those are only $35. They don't even really count those. They go up to thousands and thousands of dollars.
I think if you broke this down into like the semantics of it, it really is just there's like a bottom layer, and then it's like, and then the next level, and then the next level, and then you get to the top level, and then you finish the levels, and then you go to the tiers. So you go to the second tier, yes. And it has the echelon, and it feels like they kept expanding upwards without ever actually like having a thing that you could reach.
Because what you would assume they would stop at is being clear.
Yeah, that seems like that would be the goal.
But then people, I think, started reaching that, and they were like, oh, fuck, we can't make any more money.
What are they going to do? Are they going to leave?
Okay, so I was trying to look up how much do these classes actually cost. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, not easy to find. They don't just have, like, a menu. But Leah Remini is a former Scientologist. She's also the woman who plays the wife on The King of Queens.
Oh.
She was a huge Scientologist. She was like born. Stop it. She was like born into the cult, or she was like brought in as a really little child, which a lot of the people I'm talking about, like they were brought in as children, right?
Yeah.
Their parents joined. And so like she grew up in the cult. Like she didn't see anything wrong with it. She was just like a very dedicated, devout member. And she was really famous and getting a lot of money and stuff like that on The King of Queens. But then she ended up leaving. We'll talk about why. It's insane. She has like a podcast where she talks about Scientology. Like she's gone out of her way to like expose a lot of what happens in Scientology. And she did an interview with Business Insider, and she said that every member has to buy a $4,000 set of textbooks written by L. Ron Hubbard. But the church is constantly updating the books, and so every time there's an update, members are required to rebuy all of the updated versions. And they're encouraged to donate books to local libraries because they're told that libraries are actually always running out and they really need them. Yeah, so they're constantly rebuying $4,000 sets of textbooks and then donating their old ones to like local libraries and stuff like that to get them out.
That's fucking crazy.
Each required course costs $650. Just each one. This is what she says. But once you reach the top of the bridge, you're not done. Okay, you can make it to OT level 15. You're not done with the classes, Max.
No, why would you be
Why
done?
would you be? The courses are constantly being updated, and you are required to retake updated versions of the courses, meaning you can go all the way back to class just to take the ones that they just updated. This is all on top of the auditing, which can cost $800 per session. By the time you're done with all of this, you will be paying like $250,000 to Scientology just based off of classes.
This also, in a very like overt, satirical way, this feels like someone made a religion out of the United States.
Yeah.
Where they're like, hey, if you want to be better, you have to be educated and you have to buy these books and you have to buy the updated books. And yes, they're expensive, but like you what are you going to do? Not learn?
Yeah.
And then you're just not going to go to school and you're not going to be better.
Okay.
Like that's literally
now you have
how
to
the
also
college
pay us in order to have the privilege of paying us back.
Yeah. And yeah, that's
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
I feel it. Okay. But to members, it was worth it because they're told that once they get to the OT levels, they can gain literal superpowers. They're told that some members even begin to read minds and like cure illnesses. Okay. So then.
And they don't seek proof.
No.
They're just like, oh, cool.
And I can. You can? Wow.
I just read your mind.
What did it say?
That's between me and you, baby.
You look so comfy.
I feel so comfy.
Do you want to take a break?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Are you sure? Because it's about to get batshit crazy.
Get?
Max, it's about to get batshit crazy.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
Okay. At about OT level 3, you are given the secret materials that is only afforded. Goo! It's only afforded to the worthy, clear members. These are handwritten files that L. Ron Hubbard himself wrote.
As far as anyone knows.
He is seen as a god by the members, and also, yeah, he wrote this. No, Max, 100% only L. Ron Hubbard could have written this, just so you know. So you've spent all of this money, all of these many years and years, doing a bunch of shady stuff that we're going to get into later in order to get to this level, to get this secret information, right? You're going to be told, you're like, this is the truth of the universe. That's what you're going to be getting, okay? So they are like, this is so exciting. They're given a briefcase that has a lock that they have to keep on them. Like they have to have it in a secret place that is locked up at all times because this is the key to the universe that only L. Ron Hubbard knew.
Sure.
To many who start to read it, it's alarming. What they get is a creation myth, Max.
Sure.
75 million years ago, people lived in a world that looked just like 1950s America. There was overpopulation, so people elected a tyrant named Xenu, who called people in for tax audits. He would freeze these people with injections of glycol to their heart. Then he would box them up, put them into space planes, and fly them to the prison planet, which is actually now planet Earth. And the frozen bodies were dropped into volcanoes.
Sure.
Yeah. Then their bodies, after they died, they became disembodied spirits called Thetans. And the Thetans were captured and forced to sit in front of movie screens, Max, where they were forced to watch images of crucifixions. Whenever a child is born on Earth, Max, a Thetan jumps into the child more than one, sometimes hundreds. And that's all of your fear and anxieties. They're actually alien souls who've been forced to watch crucifixion movies.
Sure. Is Mel Gibson a Scientologist?
He's a Catholic.
Okay.
I can see where you would think he was, but Mel Gibson's a Catholic.
Mm.
At this point,
Mhm.
you are given an e-meter to use by yourself. you don't have an auditor anymore. Now you are auditing yourself. And you have to...
Sorry, it feels like here's a machine to tell you whether you are thinking. It's like that guy who's like, I've been thinking about this idea, a podcast, but nobody records it. You all just get together with your friends in a room, talk, maybe there's snacks. I don't know. Do you think there's any value to this?
Yeah, like wireless podcast is what they called it.
It's just, here's a machine to tell you if you are already thinking.
Are you? You won't know until the e-meter tells you are.
Yeah, there's a 90% chance that it is already raining.
So what you're doing with this e-meter, though, Max, is you are now attempting to find all of the alien souls that are inside of you. Don't spit water.
You're just doing Pokemon Go, but for the ghouls in your heart.
Yes. But you can have them everywhere. It could be in your foot. It could be in your toes. It could be in your knees, head, shoulders, your knees and your toes. Knees and your toes. So if you find any, you have to kick them out. And you also have to find some. So you're going to be in there until you find the aliens, Max. Also, ways that they describe kicking them out is they imagine that they have a big sword and they're just stabbing their body where they think there's an alien soul.
I just do that unrelated.
And you have paid thousands of dollars for this. Okay. It was around this time. I mean, it was way before this, but there was a little part of me at the very beginning with the Dianetics where I was like, oh, this kind of makes sense. Like, why? Uh-oh. If I had been alive in the 1960s and 70s, I might have joined this cult. And I got to this point and I was like, I don't think I'd be sitting in a chair stabbing myself with an imaginary sword. I don't think. I think I'm safe.
I would do that for fun, though.
You would take all the information, go back, tell all your friends, then you'd all have big stabbing parties.
Oh, no, I would just, I just already do that, I guess. Yeah. Not for any purpose or because I think I'm full of ghosts or whatever, but just because, I don't know. Is that not normal? Does everyone not sit around thinking, what if I got stabbed?
Yeah, what if I killed the alien inside of me?
Yeah.
So some members listened to the story, right? Or they read the story, and then they realized that this was no longer about self-help. Now it's insane. And some of them were upset because they had been told they were clear, and now they have all these aliens inside of them. That's like the farthest thing from clear I can think of. A former member described reading this and thinking for a moment that it was an insanity test. He said he was literally sitting there reading it thinking, I wonder if people are watching me right now to see if I believe it. And I'm supposed to be like, this is bullshit. And they're going to be like, haha, good. So you are clear. But he didn't do that. Instead, he was like, oh, good. Yeah, makes sense. And he was moved on to the next level. Oof. Scientology was marketing itself to members as a journey to becoming just like L. Ron Hubbard. I gotta stop talking. You gotta stop taking drinks.
I really do. You too can become an aging sci-fi author who hasn't been seen in public for decades.
So members were doing everything they could to get to that level of like godlike enlightenment, right? They're like, we just want to get to the top of the pyramid. Meanwhile, Hubbard was questioning his own sanity.
Good.
He ended up writing to the Veterans Administration, the VA, asking for psychiatric help. It's actually kind of a sad letter. He literally at the end just says, can you help me? L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh.
I don't want to say like too much because again, he was like a super abusive, really fucked up guy.
Yeah,
but also
he either was killed or didn't kill that baby.
He did something to that baby is what we know. But like also he was reaching out because he was like, I think I've gone too far. That's not good. He would spend hours and hours with an e-meter trying to figure out what was happening in his own mind. Just stabbing at the aliens and himself. He became convinced that a powerful Deton had infected him and that regular sessions couldn't help him anymore. He even at this point tried to get another member to invent a machine that would blow up the Thetan and kill his body. Basically,
explosion.
He wanted to
death
explode.
By explosion.
He wanted to be Marvel Parsons. Basically, he wanted to die is, what he was asking for. Yeah. And the member was like, okay, yeah, sure. But what he did instead was he basically like made like a Tesla coil and he made it so that the machine like blew up and there was all these sparks. But obviously it didn't kill L. Ron Hubbard because he was like, I kind of just wanted to like scare him a little bit, give him a little bit of the show that he wanted. But I didn't actually want to murder him.
Sure.
If you reached this level of Scientology to meet him where he was at, there was no turning back. Right? Like, obviously.
Right, sure.
More celebrities and public recognition invited more criticism of Scientology, which fed into L. Ron Hubbard's paranoia more and more and more. So he established a fair game policy. He had established this
The most dangerous game.
the most dangerous game policy. This wasn't like new to the church, but he was enforcing it more and more. His members were instructed never to offend, but to always be attacking. They weren't above breaking the law because nothing was out of bounds. In the 1970s, this is showcased, when they orchestrated Operation Snow White, a criminal conspiracy to purge unfavorable records from Scientology and about Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard. Members infiltrated and stole from 136 government agencies, foreign embassies and consulates, and any private organization that had ever been critical of Scientology. It was the largest infiltration of the U.S. government in history, with over 5,000 covert agents in more than 30 countries.
Jesus.
And they started it in 1966. So years before, they started encouraging their members to get jobs in these government agencies. And then they worked diligently. They were all model employees, and they worked their way up in their organizations for almost a decade. Until 1973, when they were directed to steal everything. They were like anything. The whole entire time they were there, from the 60s, they were earmarking anything about Scientology that they saw, knowing that they would go back and steal it later. So it's too insane to get into. Again, a whole other off topic would have to be done. But inside of Operation Snow White, they also found plans to frame critics for bomb threats and other crimes. They had like a list of targets. They called that Operation Freakout.
Sure.
And they
freak
also,
me out.
yeah. And they also had a plan called Operation Cat, which was a plan to plant false records about, quote, a cat with a pedigree name into the U.S. security agency computers, so that later, quote, the creature holds a press conference and photographic stories result, end quote. I think they just wanted people to feel stupid. I think they were like, and now a cat's holding a press conference. And this is who you voted for. Operation Cat. Meow, bitch.
That almost reminds me of like sometimes in software, and I don't know how often this actually happens. It's just something that I've seen in like sci-fi, but also I know has happened in real life. But when people are writing software, they will include like little strings of code that doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
That is like a signature, basically. So it's like, this has nothing to do with the operation of the program. It's just,
yeah,
you know, like a footprint, basically. And then if people try and steal that software, the way that you can prove it is to be like, is this weird string of stuff that is like buried in the code, so it'd be really hard to find it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually do anything in it. And if so, that's proof that it's stolen.
Yeah, that's kind of what they were doing with Operation Cat.
Operation Cat.
Where they infiltrate the government with a cat holding a press conference. So stupid.
They're like, wow, so you're telling me that this government is infallible and its information is secure. Is that what you mean to say, Mr. President?
Well, what do you think about this?
Why don't you go to your computer and search up the word cat? See what shows up. We've been in there.
We've had our paws all over this. Meow. So L. Ron Hubbard was never successfully linked to ordering any of this, but the FBI firmly believed he was a co-conspirator. A bunch of people went to jail, including his third wife, Mary Sue Hubbard, whose sentence was later reduced to 5 years probation. So she spent some time in jail. But he remained free. He was never charged for any of this. L. Ron Hubbard died of a stroke in 1986 without leaving a plan for succession. Scientology was really big at this point. How big was it? So big. And
800 feet tall.
Yeah. And there could have been a power vacuum. Enter David Miscavige.
Oh. I thought you were going to say enter the ghost of L. Ron Hubbard.
Enter the ghosts. The Thetans that occupied L. Ron Hubbard's body. No, enter David Miscavige. You've heard of David Miscavige?
No.
Okay. David Miscavige had been raised in Scientology since his parents joined the organization when he was 11 years old. Okay, so they brought their children in. That's like, I'll go into this the teeny tiny bit, but a lot of these people are like second generation Scientologists, third generation. The people who are born into cults, I I have a lot more, I guess, empathy towards those people, you know? But David Miscavige, he was a child brought into Scientology. He was ambitious and clever, which made L. Ron Hubbard take notice of him really early on, right? He was like, that kid's got it.
The ghosts.
The ghosts.
You got him.
Get him out. Gotta stab
Stabbing
that
you with
kid.
my mind sword.
I have to stab that kid. Eventually, he made David his assistant cameraman, and as he got older, he'd run errands, he would relay messages, and just do anything anyone asked. He was like a go-getter. They called him an auditing prodigy. He even claimed Scientology cured his asthma, because as he grew up, his asthma went away. I would just like to say a lot of people had asthma when they were little that got better as they got older. That's just called growing up.
It's because of the ghouls.
That's true. I guess it's less likely that you're going to have asthma if you aren't constantly fighting the ghouls. If not for the trouble, the ghouls, the alien ghouls.
The trouble with ghouls.
Okay, so you know what I want? I want a book that looks a lot like The Babysitter's Club, but it's just called The Trouble with Ghouls, and it's David Miscavige sitting on like a bed on his belly with like his
little feet kicking.
Yeah, feet kicking and his hands under his chin. Anyway, that's what I want.
Ghoul problems.
Just ghouly things. So when L. Ron Hubbard died, David stepped up and he basically named himself the new leader, right? Because he had already he had a grasp on how things worked and he knew everybody and he was just like had already ingratiated himself into this cult so much that he was like, I can take over because I know everything. And he had big plans to take this even further. Here's an excerpt of the speech he gave to announce L. Ron Hubbard's death to the followers. I, again, spent too much time watching too many videos.
I'm so excited.
So nobody had any idea he had died, right? It hadn't leaked to the media. No members knew. Very few people knew. David Miscavige, he calls a meeting. They have this church hall that looks like the fucking Oscars, right? It's this giant, gorgeous place. They have this gigantic stage. It's ornate and gaudy. And there's a podium in the middle. And he walks up to the podium and there's a big picture of L. Ron Hubbard now, right? He's a god.
Dead? Oh.
Now it has today there's a big picture of then L. Ron Hubbard was the one that was talking on the podium a lot of times. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's like church, but everybody's dressed like they're going to the Oscars. So here's the speech he gave to announce his death. Quote, "He has now moved on to his next OT level of OT research. This level is beyond anything any one of us ever imagined. This level is in fact done in an exterior state, meaning that it is done completely exterior from the body." At this point in the audience, you start to hear people going, "What?" Huh? People are getting kind of they're starting to catch on. Some people are catching on what he's saying. Mm-hmm. Not everybody. He says, "At this level of OT, the body is nothing more than an impediment, an encumbrance to any further gain as an OT." And now more people are starting to cry out in the audience. They're just starting to kind of scream a little. And he says, thus, at 2000 hours Friday, the 24th of January, AD 36, L. Ron Hubbard discarded the body he had used in this lifetime for 74 years, 10 months, and 11 days. People are losing their shit in the audience. The body he had used to facilitate his existence in this messed universe had ceased to be useful, and in fact had become an impediment to the work he must now do outside of its confines. We felt it was important as Scientologists that you were the first to become aware of this fact. I can understand that many of you are probably experiencing the effect of a secondary. However, it is important that you can put this into proper perspective. And then he basically ended the speech with, "Although you may feel grief, understand that he did not and does not know." So, the Community episode where Pierce is talking about how his mom she's actually fine because her soul has just reached into now it's in this next level and it's that's kind of taken directly from this speech about L. Ron Hubbard dying. Whew. How actually he's just reached the next level of his OT and he has more work to do and now his soul can fight the aliens.
Oh my god, he gets a soul spaceship.
Mm-hmm. That was basically what the fucking lava lamp was for. Anyway.
Oof.
Yeah. I'm just saying, everything that we've seen about this, all the parodies are accurate.
Also, the thing that strikes me about this is that the idea of Dianetics being that you remove the emotion from something and make it like into pure logic, kind of.
Yeah.
That also aligns with this. But specifically, he's being like, no, if you're upset, that's your problem.
Because he's not.
Yeah.
And I'm not, because now I have total power.
Yeah, that's an advanced form of gaslighting.
It really is. Before David Miscavige, when L. Ron Hubbard was the one that was leading this, Scientology taught that 98% of people were good and 2% were evil. David Miscavige believed it should be the other way around. Now, under him, 98% of people are evil, 2% are good. Guess which one he's on?
Wow, so he made 96% of people evil overnight.
Basically.
That's crazy. How did he do that?
How did he do it? Under his leadership, the fair game policy amped up immediately. Members poisoned a reporter's dog while he was working on a Scientology story. They hired private detectives to uncover information about people. They sued people. They broke into homes. They stalked people and their families. They destroyed properties. And they just overall caused extreme distress to anybody who spoke out against the church. And they wouldn't go away after like 1 or 2 times. This lasted sometime for decades. And of course, this entire time, they had a PR spokesperson, right? His name was Mike Rinder, and he was in charge of spinning things, denying allegations, and generally just, quote, being slimy. That's his quote.
That's his quote?
He's in the documentary because he left Scientology and, like, told all about the shit that he did.
I was really hoping that you meant, like, at the time, he was like...
I'm just over here being slimy, and they're being mean to me.
Professional slimer.
Gross. And also, same. David Miscavige wanted to make sure no one within Scientology questioned what was going on. So he opened a prison camp called the Rehabilitation Project Force, the RPF. The purpose of this was to reindoctrinate Sea Org members who criticized any aspect of the religion for any reason. So Spanky Taylor, remember her? Remember Spanky? She had been a loyal Sea Org member for years, since she was very young, and she recalled that she had been sent to the prison camp after she had expressed concern that the church was denying her boss medical treatment. She was like, wait, are we really not going to send them to the doctor? Like, that seems like they're going to die. And then they were like, wow, okay, so you have to go to prison. She was like, what? She was like, I thought it was a mistake and that I would get there and they'd be like, oh, no, not Spanky.
No Spanky for Spanky.
No Spankies. At this point, she had a baby who was about a year old, and she was instructed to give over her baby to something called the Cadet Org to be raised by other Scientologists. All Sea Org parents were eventually told to do this so they wouldn't be distracted from their missions. And apparently children were considered unpractical burdens, so they were also encouraged to get abortions all the time. They were like, no babies. You signed a contract. So she gave them her baby, and she went to the prison camp like a good Scientologist because she was told to. She was forced to do menial labor and 5-hour-a-day auditing sessions. They worked for 30 hours, and they slept for 3 hours. They ate leftover food scraps, and they felt like they were going crazy. Which also, all of this is classic cult shit. Not letting you sleep, starving you, making you work for so many times, making you go to intense like religious confessions, things like that. That's all part of cults.
That's also part of torture.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Around this time, she also found out that she was pregnant, so she really wasn't, like, making him happy. After months of doing this, she was there for months. She had no contact at all with the outside world. Remember, her family is in this cult, too. Like, her husband's in Scientology, like everyone. After doing this for months, the organization decided that they wanted to do a screening of Saturday Night Fever starring John Travolta, and she was the person who knew him. So a guard one day gave her a phone and was like, call John Travolta, ask him to do a screening. And she was like, what? She's like, we talked every day, and then a couple months ago, I just ghosted him. So, like, he's not going to take my call. He's going to be mad at me. Like, we had plans. I just didn't show up. Like,
call his agent.
So she called his secretary. And the secretary was like, let me check with John. And then she came back and she was like, he agrees on the condition that afterwards you get dinner with him to catch up. Like, that was his thing. He's like, I have my copy of Saturday Night Fever. I will let you guys use it if Spanky gets dinner with me and we catch up together. And she was so excited because she was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm going to get out of this prison camp. So she was all excited and she was allowed to agree. But the second the screening ended, they made her call him and cancel as soon as they got what they wanted. And so she did it. And according to her, he was really angry with her. He told her that she was allowing them to treat her like this. He's like, you are letting them do this. You realize that. You could stop this. and you're not doing it. He was like, you're allowing them to let you cut people out of your life. Like, that's really fucked up, Spanky. And she said that she felt ashamed, but also this was kind of like, this was the moment where she kind of opened her eyes a little bit, and she was like, what the fuck am I doing? And so after she got off the phone with him, she went over to the cadet org to see her baby, right? And she hadn't seen her baby in months. And she was horrified at the condition that this baby was living in. She was sick with fever. Her eyes were completely sealed shut with mucus. And she was lying in a urine-soaked crib.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and she had fruit flies all over her.
Oh, no.
And so at this point, Spanky said that she realized she could make the decision to stay for herself, but she couldn't do it to her children. She was like, I have to get us out. And also she's pregnant. She's like, I can't have another baby in this cult. So right after that, she went to the guard and she was like, I'm having some complications with my pregnancy. I have to make a phone call to the doctor just to make sure that everything's okay. So she was allowed to use the phone to call her doctor. And instead, she called one woman who she knew didn't have any associations with Scientology. It was a mutual friend she had met through John Travolta. And she gave the woman an address and a time to meet. She's like, if you come here at this time, I need you to give me a ride. And the lady was like, I am on my way. Then she wrapped up her baby and she told another guard, she was like, so my sister-in-law is coming to bring the baby to the doctor because she's so sick. And the guard was like, was that approved? And she was like, yeah, it was approved. Of course it was. I'm Spanky Taylor. I'm like your guys. I'm a Sea Org member. I'm like your top gal. Like, I got this.
You know, Spanky from the Sea Org.
The billion-year contract sign and Spanky from the Sea Org. So she had her baby wrapped up. She walked her down. The guard was with her the entire time. There was like a car outside and she's like, that's my sister-in-law. I'm just going to put the baby in the car. And she opened the door. She put the baby in the car. She made eye contact with the woman who was driving, and the woman put the car into gear. And at the last moment, Spanky jumped in, slammed the door, locked it, and the lady took off down the street. And she said that they were chasing her down and screaming her name. And she said the whole time she thought, quote, I'm a dead person. Something terrible is going to happen to me.
Oof.
End quote. But that's how she left Scientology.
Fuck yes. Also, good for that woman. Whoever, like...
Yeah. Yeah, she helped her escape from a cult.
Yes.
John Travolta heard what happened to Spanky, but he didn't do anything about it. He stayed in and never talked to her again.
Oh, God.
They think it was because of the auditing sessions. So, in the auditing sessions, especially as you get further and further in, you share your most intimate moments with your auditors and your most shameful secrets and all the thoughts that you're having, like the shameful, like intrusive thoughts, the things that you're thinking. Every time it spikes, they make you talk about it. The auditors take extensive notes the entire time you're in there, right? And they have all of these files on you. They keep them very well organized. Also, they are always filmed. They tell the people, like, this is for training purposes. And they have 2 cameras set up on either side to record the auditor and also to record the person being audited. And so when John Travolta came in, he's like, I will not be filmed. So, like, I won't do it if you're filming me. So that's the conditions. And they told him, of course, like, fine, we won't even do it then. Why don't we not even do it in our facilities because we have our camera set up? We'll just do it in a hotel room. So they would get a hotel room and they would set him up in his auditing sessions. But before he'd go there, they had guys going in and like putting secret hidden cameras in the hotel room to film it against his will. And we know this because the men who set up the cameras left the church and came out and came clean about this. Whew. After this, John Travolta basically, they think that he was just stuck. But not only that, they also think that he was getting something out of this, right? He had the muscle of the church behind him. If rumors spread or if tabloids wrote about him, they were swiftly dealt with, like fair game, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they did a good job because we've all read so many tabloids about John Travolta. Like there's just constant stuff about him being gay. You've heard all those rumors.
Mm-mm.
Oh, there's a lot of like all the tabloids back in like the 90s and early 2000s was like John Travolta secretly gay. John Travolta, like it was just all about him being secretly gay. And that was the thing that he's always denied. Yeah, it was a big thing. Anyway, and he was always in the tabloid. So I'm like, where the fuck? You guys weren't being... There wasn't fair game enough for John Travolta if he's doing all that for you. In return, whenever the church was facing lawsuits or public critique, John Travolta was paraded out to make statements about how great the organization was and how much better he was taking part of it and like basically helping to recruit more members.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was John Travolta. So disappointing. Taxes.
Taxes.
Now we have to talk about taxes. Max, do you want to take a little break?
You can take a little break.
Okay, let's take a little break and we'll come back. I'm just watching you like, okay, that's a lot. We're going to take a little break and then we'll come right back to talk about taxes. Okay, welcome back. So we've talked all about John Travolta. We've talked about people trying to leave the church. Now let's talk about taxes, what you're all here for. L. Ron Hubbard had always believed that Scientology should be tax exempt. But of course he had been denied, right? Again and again and again. But on principle, he had refused to pay any taxes because he was like, I shouldn't have to. By the time David Miscavige became the leader, they owed over $1 billion in back taxes.
$1 billion.
$1 billion. Now, this was in 1987.
Yeah.
So, like, impossible number to even imagine.
A trillion.
A quadrillion, even. A skillion.
A squillion.
A squillion dollars. So basically, David Miscavige knew they needed that tax exemption or they'd be forced to shut down. And that was not an option for him. So in the early 90s, they used the fair game policy yet again on the IRS. They got thousands of their Scientology members to open lawsuits against the IRS. They did it at every jurisdiction, investigating them for crimes, mostly about regular everyday people. They weren't even like, this is a religious thing. They were like, this guy is owed back taxes. You have to pay up. So we're opening up a lawsuit for this random guy. But they did it all at once, same day. Thousands of lawsuits.
God.
So the IRS felt extreme pressure and they were forced to open negotiations. And then in October 1993, David Miscavige gathered all the members into his gaudy meeting hall, which it looks like the Oscars like had a baby with Hitler. It's really weird. He announced in that meeting, the war is over. The IRS had granted them religious tax exemption, and all the lawsuits were dropped that same day. So they all popped up in one day, and they all were dropped in one day. Now, it was officially a church, and there was no getting rid of it, and there is no getting rid of it. Being declared a legitimate church doesn't just mean that they make more money. It also makes it harder to sue them. In 2012, 2 former members tried to sue the church for human trafficking, violating labor laws, and unfair practices. And they had a good case. They could prove all of that. But even though they had that proof, the Church of Scientology was protected under the religious clause of the First Amendment. And so the FBI stopped investigating them, and they had no case. They had to drop it. So, like, getting that tax exemption, like being declared a church didn't just like fuck things up for the world. It's also fucking things up for individuals and like our legal system, everything.
Yeah.
So let's get into Tom Cruise.
Ew, no thank you.
Let's get inside Tom Cruise. Another absolutely magnetic person who, unfortunately, I enjoy everything I see Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise makes the exact kind of movies that I like. Yes, I love a Tom Cruise movie.
I have never liked or trusted Tom Cruise in my entire life. He has always seemed reptilian to me.
Ooh, you're getting to different conspiracies. No.
I will take any other conspiracy.
I think Tom Cruise he has the same magnetism that, again, John Travolta, even Vin Diesel. I think all these people, Jason Statham, they have a certain thing about them where they walk into a room and you're like, that's the person I should be looking at and I should be watching. I think they're likable.
I don't think that about Tom Cruise.
I wish I felt the same.
Yeah. It's like Tom Cruise, Christian Bale. I feel the same way about where it feels like just...
I have a hard time with Christian Bale. For sure.
It has something in the eyes. I'm like, oh, this is a very clever facsimile of a person.
Okay, this is exactly what I say about Ben Barnes all the time.
Okay, but Ben Barnes is a sweetie.
And I get shit for it.
Yeah, because you're wrong.
You're not wrong about Tom Cruise. I'm just saying, I like every movie, unfortunately. Eventually, Scientology gained their most prominent member, Tom Cruise. He and David Miscavige became friends in 1990 while he was filming Days of Thunder, which is the movie where he met and fell in love with Nicole Kidman, because they used to be married. Mm-hmm. Before marrying Nicole...
Oh, I know that. I know that from the divorce pictures.
Yeah! Do you remember what she said?
No.
They asked her, like, what's changed now that you've divorced Tom Cruise? And she said, I can wear heels again.
Oh, God, that's so fucking good. I just mean the paparazzi pictures when she's leaving the divorce attorney, like
and
she signed the papers. Yeah, is it raining or does it just seem like it's raining? And she's just like got her face to the sky and is like howling in delight.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And also, after you hear about this, you're going to know exactly why it was that moment for her. Before marrying Nicole, Tom was really into Scientology and all it had to offer him, which was mainly lots of attention and praise, right? It was feeding his ego. But Nicole was a problem for them. Her father is a well-known psychologist in Australia.
Oh.
And she recognized them immediately as a cult of pseudoscience. She did some of the stuff. Like, it was affiliated with Scientology for a little bit, mainly because of Tom Cruise, right? He's like, no, just go to some auditing sessions, right? So that's what she did. But she was immediately like, this isn't fucking science. She's like, this
I know science.
is bullshit.
This ain't science.
This ain't it. So they saw her father as a suppressor, which is what they call people who disagree with them.
Right.
And she was immediately labeled a potential trouble source. And I think that's hot.
Yeah.
I would love to be a PTS. Unfortunately, I think that just because of the nature of this episode, we'd immediately be labeled suppressors. But potential trouble source, I want that. I want a fucking tramp stamp.
From an arrow pointing to your butthole.
Potential trouble source. Caution. Men at work.
Road work ahead. I sure hope it does.
So there's like a lot of opportunities. If you guys want to get any of those tramp stamps, just go ahead and give us a little like 2% commission.
Mm-hmm.
From 19
Dead end.
Slow. From 19
Do not enter. Any road sign is funny if it's pointing at your butthole.
Bridge ices before road. That's a political one.
Oh, I thought it was about the gooch.
It's anything. Okay. From 1992 to 2001, Nicole pulled Tom Cruise away from the church altogether, and that made David Miscavige furious. He's obsessive over Tom Cruise in a really fucking weird way. He assigned members to their case, insisting they find ways to break up their marriage. And they tried for that entire time. That's like 9 years that they were just like wheedling away at their... Wheedling? Needling away at their marriage. They mainly did this through the auditing sessions. He'd go in to be audited, and the reports were sent back daily to Miscavige. So he would sit there and listen back to all of his sessions. He would bring people in and be like, oh, and I heard stories where he did this with his wife. I'll talk about her later. But he would have his wife sitting there listening to like him talk about his like sex, like the sex that he was having. And he'd be like, are you listening to this? Like, you like, isn't this sick? And she was like really like up, like she was really like turned off by it. She's like, this is sick. She's like, this is sick. I don't like this. Basically, he was just like, he seemed to like really specifically focus on his sex life. David Miscavige, I see you.
You got some thetans in there that you gotta...
You got some horny thetans.
Yeah. Horny thetans. Attorney at law.
Horny thetan, another opportunity for a tramp stamp. Pointing to your butthole. Stab it. Oh no. Guys... I'm sorry. Okay. He also had people investigating Nicole Kidman. They were constantly trying to get her into legal trouble. She was constantly finding herself dealing with like just minor legal inconveniences that she's like, what the fuck is happening? They tapped her phone and they had all of her phone calls recorded and then sent to David Miscavige. And he listened back to every single one of them. Like, he's the fucking leader of the church and he's doing this with like one individual. Then they began to work on turning their adopted children against her. And again, all of this on the documentary is told by the people who did it.
Oh my God.
They wanted her children to see her as a suppressive person so that Tom Cruise would gain full custody. She did not lose custody of her children, but both of them decided to stay with their dad and are both currently Scientologists. So they worked and worked on Tom Cruise. They even assigned a person to make sure that he was happy all the time. So like his liaison, but like somebody that was just in charge of giving him literally anything he wanted at any moment in the day or night. It was
Slappy Norman.
Oh, Spanky, you got replaced by Slappy Norman.
Oh, Slappy Norman.
I would say if I had to choose between the two, I think I would choose Spanky Taylor. Slappy Norman sounds like a freak.
That's a Discord name if I've ever heard one.
Slapping Norman. So eventually, Scientology and Slappy Norman turned him completely against Nicole Kidman, and they filed for divorce in 2001. And then we have the iconic picture in 2002 of her, like, cheering as she walks out of the courthouse because she doesn't have to deal with this fucking church anymore.
Thank God.
Yeah. Stories of how wildly Tom Cruise was spoiled have come out, like, a bunch all the time. He was given tricked out cars and motorcycles and airplane hangars filled with tricked out planes. Like, these were gifts to Tom Cruise. Millions and millions of dollars have been spent trying to keep him happy. Meanwhile, Sea Org members get paid 40 cents an hour.
Wow. We should unionize Sea Org.
Max would like to unionize Sea Org.
They can unionize themselves. I'm not helping.
People are like, Tom Cruise definitely knows that he's getting millions and millions of dollars of like special treatment, and people are literally being human trafficked in this organization. But Tom Cruise also was told that he has a bunch of alien souls inside of him, and he's paying thousands of dollars to do a form of auditing that requires him to pretend he has a sword that he stabs the alien outside of him. So, like, unpaid labor isn't on his list of priorities, is what I'm saying. That's the least of his worry.
Yeah, he's full of ghouls.
He's full of ghouls. Full of ghouls. This episode's going to be called Scientology, Full of Ghouls. But the lower Sea Org members are not the only ones being abused. For a while, the top officials were living the good life in Scientology. A lot of them say they believed they were doing actual good, and they were getting a lot of power and money out of it. They fully believed they were doing good while they were wiretapping Nicole Kidman's phone and like secretly filming John Travolta confessing things that later on they used to blackmail him. So like, I've heard stories about like the tapes from the Scientology audits. I didn't know the terminology, but one of the things that people have talked about is the fact that it's like, oh, you, again, not to disparage the idea of like past life regression or whatever, but it's like, they're kind of asking you to like, be like, make up a bad thing that you think a person who isn't you in the past might have done, and then recording you confessing to it. Yeah.
And then they have those recordings. So if you go against the church, they're like, well, he confessed to murdering JFK.
So how are you going to get out of that one? That's how they got Slappy.
That's how they got Slappy Norman.
Slappy Norman murdered GFK. Wasn't the same guy.
That was just the warm-up.
It was actually
George F. Kennedy.
Jeffrey with a G.F. Kennedy. Yeah, basically. Yeah. And also, like, a lot of them would come out of there. Again, it's half hypnosis, right? So a lot of them would come out of there fully believing a lot of the shit that they were eventually, you know, told that they did and stuff like that. Like, it's just part of it.
Yeah.
And like Sarah, his first wife, was like, he's planting, actually it was his second wife, technically. But Sarah was
his first
like,
wife's sister. Let's be clear.
No, that was Marvel's first wife's sister. And then L. Ron Hubbard ran away with her, but apparently he had been married before that, and he was like married to both of them for like a year. I didn't even get into that. Okay. And I won't now. Anyway, but she accused him of implanting false memories into people.
Yeah.
And like now it's just that on a large scale with a bunch of people doing it to others and themselves. Okay. So like I said, the lower Sea Org members, they're being abused, but also the top officials were like, we're doing good. We have power. We're untouchable. What they didn't count on was that David Miscavige was super paranoid, is a power-hungry maniac, and he was becoming increasingly convinced that somebody was going to try to displace him. And he's like, I need to shake up this organization. So he ordered all the top Sea Org executives to go to the Gold Base in California. And the Gold Base was 2 double-wide trailers called The Hole. And they had bars on the doors and windows and security guards posted outside and all throughout. And they were forced to like live in there for a while.
The term I think for that administrative move is the Sea Org reorg.
The Sea Org reorg. I think you should pitch that to them. I would also like to pitch The Hole as a tramp stamp.
Gold Base would also be a good
Gold Base.
That one would be niche.
But Fool's Gold Base.
Ooh,
I think The Hole just gets right to the point. The execs were only allowed to sleep 1 to 2 hours a night. They were told every day that they had to confess their crimes, and they had to find out each other's crimes. So they were constantly being pitted against each other and constantly just like fighting each other. These are men that like were on the news constantly. Like the ones, like the fucking PR person, Mike Rinder, he was in this. Like just the people who were previously running the organization are now sleeping on floors for 1 to 2 hours a night and being physically tortured. They were punished constantly with things like mopping the bathroom floor with their tongue.
Oh, God.
Yep. If you think the documentary didn't do a reenactment of that, it was awful. They were berated and beaten and degraded. There was a powerful AC unit set up in the ceiling, and one of the men was doused with water until he turned blue. He was like put under it, and they just kept dumping buckets of water on him until he physically turned blue.
What the fuck?
Jason Beige. I don't know if that's how you say his last name. Beghe. He's an actor, and he's a talking head on this documentary.
Jason Beach.
Jason Beige. As a tramp stamp.
Don't go, Jason Beach.
Don't go, Jason Beach. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Jason had been in the first group of people who had been sent to the hole. He claimed that Miscavige himself came in one day and just started beating the shit out of him, and he described it as a shock.
Sure.
I wrote that so confidently. He was surprised.
He was like, what?
He said it was...
But why?
I think if anybody came in and started punching me, I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
He said it was as if the Pope had come in and punched him in the face. Because, like, he was, like, basically, he was the head of their church.
I just love that as an image. I love the idea of like the Pope shows up at your house, knocks on the door, you open the door, it's the Pope, and then he just punches you in the face, and he's like, no one will ever believe you, and then he runs off to his little bicycle.
If I was the Pope, I'd do that constantly. That's why women can't be popes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just proved them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're so right. Anyway, he was afraid to retaliate or fight back. And one of the reasons was because this was in front of the other men in the hole. And he's like, he's like, my first instinct was to fight back against this man. He's like, but also I thought if I were to take a swing at this man, these other men might beat me to death. Like, they actually might kill me. And he also said that he had at that point been so brainwashed and beat down that Miscavige telling him that he was bad made him believe it. He was like, maybe they are helping me, which is what Miscavige was like, this is to help you.
Oof.
This also wasn't for a short period of time. This lasted for months and sometimes years.
What?
They said the nominal president of the church, his name is Heber Jench, he was in the hole for 7 years.
What the fuck?
At one point, more than 100 people were packed inside.
In 2 trailers?
Now, they don't look like regular trailers. They're double wide, so they're double the size.
They're not like regular trailers. They're like 2 regular trailers.
So it's like 4 trailers with 100 people inside.
That's too much.
That might be too many people. Or not enough trailers.
We need more holes.
I think there should be more hole. For sure. Just to showcase... Okay, this is insane. Again, this is from the documentary. This is just so Unshane. This is just so insane that I had to include this. To showcase how much control Miscavige had on the members, one of them told a story of him walking into the hole one day with a boombox, and he set it down and he's like, we're gonna play musical chairs. And they set up chairs in a circle, and the men were like, the fuck? The song they chose, what song would you choose if you're gonna make a bunch of prisoners play musical chairs?
Cotton Eye Joe.
That's such a good one. He chose Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, God, no. Why would you do that?
He said it was because of the line, nothing really matters. And he played it a bunch of times and said, this is about you.
You killed your mom.
Yeah, mama, I'm a piece of shit. That's you.
Mama just killed my mom.
It's not the words. So there's
against my mom. Pulled my trigger, now she's gone.
Oh. Okay, maybe those are the words.
Mama.
Life is just my mom. Okay, so he was like, we're going to play musical chairs. He told them the last one standing, or sitting, I guess, the last one sitting, would get to stay in the church. Everyone else would be expelled. And so people literally fought each other and like injured each other and fought tooth and nail to stay in the hole. He didn't even say, you're going to get out of the hole. It was, no, you just get to stay. And everyone else gets expelled. And all of these men fucking almost killed each other trying to stay in. At the end, though, when they finally had the person who was the last one sitting in the chair, he's like, you know what, actually, out of the goodness of my heart, I'm going to let you all continue to rehabilitate yourselves. And then he left. And he was like, but you have to promise me that you're going to give me good confessions. And then he left, and they all stayed in the hole.
Oh my God.
Also, they're prisoners, but they're not being forced to stay there. They can leave at any time.
Yeah. And also there are 100 of them at this point.
Well, at this point, it was pretty small, like at this particular story, but yeah.
Yeah.
4 of the executives who had gone to the hole, including the PR person, Mike Rinder, that guy was in there, the slimy guy.
Yeah.
4 of them eventually left the church fairly soon after this. However, all of them left alone. Their wives and children stayed in.
Oh.
Their wives, who had also been taken to the hole at one point, they all went on Anderson Cooper and they called their husband liars. They kept repeating key lines and phrases multiple times. Like at one point, one of the wives was like, Mike says that he was like tortured. I've seen every inch of his body. I know he wasn't tortured. He doesn't have these scars. And then like literally like a minute after she says that, another guy's wife goes, okay, I've seen every inch of his body and obviously he doesn't have scars. And it was just like a really weird thing where they're like, what the fuck?
So you guys were coached then?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're like,
Yeah.
They've obviously been given a script. And they all stayed in. Even after that. Unsurprisingly, Scientology has some garbage views. I didn't know where to put this in, so it's going in now.
Sure. You put it in with the hole.
I put it in with the hole. Let's throw everything in the hole. It views homosexuality as a disease, and it believes it can cure gay people. It also supports bans on gay marriage, which explains John Travolta, honestly. If the one thing that he's most ashamed about is all of these like gay rumors, or if when he's like, my conspiracy is that when he starts to kind of push back a little bit, all of a sudden the tabloids are now reporting that he's gay again.
Yeah.
Hopefully he knows that it's 2025 and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Actually, everybody would be super stoked if you came out as gay. It'd be very empowering.
Specifically, if you came out as gay and not a Scientologist anymore. Amazing.
Being gay cured me of my Scientology. Holy shit. That's a win for the team, man.
That's golden.
That is what I am manifesting for for John Travolta. Scientology also tells its members not to read anything on the internet about the church. And if they ever hear someone they know criticize the church, they're required to disconnect themselves from that person. And this has happened with like children disconnecting from parents disconnecting to their children when they grow up and are like, I don't want to be a Scientologist. They're like, great. Well, then we can never talk to you again.
Oh my God.
People who leave the church and speak out against it are stalked, harassed, and their family is made to feel super unsafe. They have websites set up about them, accusing them of all sorts of crimes. L. Ron Hubbard at the very beginning wrote about people who defected, and he called them squirrels. I don't know why, but sometimes the people harassing you will be wearing a shirt featuring your head on a squirrel body, which is just really, they have like matching shirts and shit, and they'll follow you around with video cameras. They have been known to buy houses across the street from you and set up surveillance 24 hours a day for like 5 years.
Jesus.
Like watching your children and your wife and shit. Your wife, Max. Me!
How dare.
Don't you dare. Don't touch her. Okay. Over time, of course, Scientology stopped gaining members the same way it was before. They claim now to have millions of members, but actually they have about 50,000. That's what's worldwide. That's what is estimated. They no longer have a public face. They don't do media interviews, and they don't answer questions. David Miscavige doesn't want to answer questions that'll make him look bad, so he just doesn't speak publicly
answer
at all.
questions because he looks bad.
Not at all. It's impossible to look good, David Miscavige. One of the things he certainly won't speak about is his wife, Shelley Miscavige. When Leah Remini left the church in 2013, remember she's the actress that was on King of Queens, she immediately went to the police and filed a missing person report. It was like the first thing she did when she left the church. She told them no one had seen Shelley Miscavige since 2007.
And what year was this?
2013.
Oh my God. This I also know about.
Where is Shelley Miscavige is like the big.
Yeah.
Yeah. This wasn't in the documentary. I almost didn't add it. And then I was like, wait, hold on. Where the fuck is Shelley Miscavige? Shelley had been brought into Scientology as a child, just like David. Her parents had actually been on the original Sea Org voyage, so when he had his first fleet of ships. But then they had gotten a divorce, and they decided to leave their 2 daughters in Hubbard's care, and they abandoned them on the ship.
What?
Yeah.
The fuck?
So she was literally raised by L. Ron Hubbard. She was obsessed with him. She did anything that he asked. She was like constantly looking for his approval. I mean, she had abandonment issues. Like she looked at this man and was like, he's not only a god, but he's my dad.
Yeah.
And she gained a reputation for being kind of an asshole. They were like, she was super cute. She was just like a really adorable kid. She had this like ponytail and sneakers, and she'd walk around the ship and she'd be like, what are you doing? What are you doing now? What are you saying right now? And then she would go back and tattle on people. Like, she was an asshole. She and David met when they were teenagers. They're only a year apart. Actually, their stories are so similar that honestly, I couldn't help but thinking, like, this is kind of a cute love story. If it wasn't for all the insanity, this would be a cute love story. She and David met when they were teenagers. She was Hubbard's favorite little messenger, and he was Hubbard's loyal assistant. They were both kind of assholes, so it was a perfect match, and they were both super cute. They got married when they were 20 and 21, and the marriage was reported as being really loveless. They had no affection for each other, and according to members who were close to them, they slept in separate rooms. And I don't have shame for people sleeping in separate rooms. We've talked about this before. But, like, it doesn't sound like they were doing a cool, healthy, modern thing.
No.
Seems like they just didn't want to sleep in the same bed or be anywhere near each other.
So why get married?
Why get married, indeed? I think power. I think that she was close to L. Ron Hubbard, and David wanted to be close to L. Ron Hubbard, and I think that he was moving up in the ranks, and she wanted to move up in the ranks.
Yeah, that'd do it.
Yeah. David Miscavige reportedly has a terrible temper, and Shelley was often described as being a shock absorber. She was the only one who ever pushed back against him even a little bit, and the only one who tried to rein him in a little bit. Like, he would come in and be like, everybody here sucks. Like, he'd come in just like screaming at people, and he'd be like, you're all going to the rehabilitation force. Like, you're going to go to that thing. And then, like, he would leave, and then she would come in and be like, nobody's going to the rehabilitation force. How can we fix this? Like, she was seen as kind of, she was a huge bitch. Like, this is what everybody was like, she sucked, but also she was the only one who ever questions David. Then, in late 2006, David Miscavige demanded the entire Sea Org board of executives be reshuffled and retitled. Basically, dismantled and reformed.
The Sea Org reorg.
He wanted the Sea Org reorg. I also think this was the same time of the Hole. Okay, this is why everybody was sent there. Shelley and the other members worked day and night to try to create what he wanted, but he turned every single one of them down. And they spent months doing this. It was driving them crazy. They couldn't please him. And he was getting like, he was just flinging verbal abuse at them and like smashing stuff. Then he left for LA for a bit. And while he was gone, Shelley did two uncharacteristic things. One, she made a chart of the new Sea Org titles and roles, and then she disseminated them without his approval. She's like, fuck it, we're doing it. Here's the new roles.
Nice.
Yeah. Then, to help with some renovations on his living quarters, I don't understand this one. She had some of his stuff boxed up and put into a temporary housing unit. I don't know why they think this is so important unless she was moving him out of their house.
Kind of sounds like it.
That's what it sounds like. But they were like, actually, it was just because they were reorganizing stuff. But I'm like, really? It sounds like she moved him to a separate house.
It does sound like that. And it also sounds like her doing it without his permission again.
That's it. You know,
Yeah.
the whole thing is that she's not clearing stuff with him suddenly. Members said that after this, she started acting like she knew she was living on borrowed time. She stopped letting domestic staff take care of her. They'd be like, we'll make you food. And she's like, no, I don't deserve it. And like she stopped. She's like, I'll make it myself or I'll do this. Like she just stopped doing everything. They said she shuffled around with her head down like she felt ashamed, just waiting for David Miscavige to get back. They said she just behaved like she knew she was in big trouble. And soon, Shelley was stripped of all her duties and was shadowed by a watchful handler while attending her father's funeral. That was like one of the last times people saw her, was like she had like a handler who was around her following her everywhere. Like she couldn't be trusted on her own. Eventually, people who had been in charge of doing things for her, like styling her and like picking out her clothes and stuff like that, they were told by David, you're no longer needed. Your services are no longer needed. They told them that Shelley was on a special project. And soon they got rid of everything about her as if she had never existed. And nobody asked about her because it was David Miscavige saying like, actually, she's fine.
Yeah.
Nobody except for Leah Remini. She was known as being a loudmouth. Like they were like,
Good.
Ever since she was a kid, she had been like really loud and questioned everything. And they were like, no, you're getting in trouble. Stop it. Can we send a child to the hole? No? Why?
We should have a
Child hole. That's vagina.
No.
Yeah. It's where the children come out. Anyway, she continued to ask questions about Shelley Miscavige. Because she knew her, like she was like kind of close to her, and at one point she sent like a gift, and she didn't get a thank you note back, and she was like, "Okay, that's weird. Did she receive it?" And they were like, "Don't ask questions." And she's like, "Why? Where is she?" And they were like, "Stop asking questions." And she's like, "About Shelley? When's the last time you saw her?" They're like, "Stop it." Eventually, she left. It was like 7 years later, right? found the strength to leave. It takes a lot to fucking leave. Again,
does.
it takes a lot to leave Scientology. So she left 7 years later and then immediately filled out a missing person report because it was something that she couldn't get over. Journalists have speculated that Shelley is being held in one of the church's secretive and tightly controlled outer bases. The police did go and check. I don't know if I said that later, but the police did go and check, and they came back and said, she's fine. No details, just, she's fine.
Sure.
Are we going to fucking believe the LAPD? Come on. But their journalists are like, we think she's still alive. There are several bases where the church keeps all of its most precious possessions, like some of L. Ron Hubbard's writings and like, you know, artifacts and stuff like that they need. But most reports say that she's in a base just outside of Los Angeles. And here's a quote from Vanity Fair. Located near Lake Arrowhead, about 90 minutes from the city, the roughly 500-acre site is known variously as Twin Peaks, Rim Forest, or CST. Rim Forest.
The whole.
Rim Forest. Back to The first two are nearby towns. The third is an abbreviation for Church of Spiritual Technology, the wing in charge of Scientology's copyrights and archival work. According to Dylan Gill, a former Sea Org member,
Dylan Gill,
who oversaw much of its construction, the base includes, in addition to a luxurious log cabin primed for Hubbard's return, a second structure designed to protect church VIPs such as Miscavige and Tom Cruise in the event of a nuclear Armageddon.
Sure.
Miscavige wants to live in a log cabin with Tom Cruise in the Armageddon. Like, I'm sorry, Miscavige. Clearly, he has a thing for Tom Cruise.
Just ask him out.
Jesus Christ. Nobody says that. And why not? It's so clear. Girl.
Yeah.
Be cool. Building secret Armageddon nuclear bunkers.
Ooh, I hope nobody nukes us.
If we do, this is my bed and this is your side of my bed.
Oh my God, who built this bunker with only one bed?
Tom Cruise is like, I'm not interested. I have a girlfriend. Members talk about how Miscavige asked them to break into a safe that only Shelley had the keys for. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then after they did it, then his aides came back and said, okay, so repair it and replace the locks so that it looks like nothing happened. And then when they left the organization, they were like, hey, yeah, that's something to tell the police. She had the keys and she was the only one that could get in. And then they had me break in because she wasn't there. So when you went and checked her office, actually, that was new locks. It's widely believed that Shelley Miscavige is being held and interrogated and audited and is in a reprogramming program. She's in a Sea Org reorg. The worst part is, especially after all the accounts of what happened in the hole, she's most likely there willingly. They think that that's the reason why the police, they talked to her and they were like, she wants to be there.
Yeah.
They think that she can leave if she wants to, but that she's so devoted to L. Ron Hubbard that she never will. It's literally all she's ever known. According to former Scientologist, and also this is the person who tried to sue the church for human trafficking, right, in 2012, they said, quote, she's probably the one person who could just end it tomorrow. If she just walked away from the whole craziness and said, okay, this is where all the fucking bodies are buried. This is what he did with this. This is what he did with that. Let's fucking burn it down. It would be done. I know. All right, so that's what the theory with Shelley Miscavige is that she's still alive, but she's willingly being reprogrammed. Here are some celebrities who are currently Scientologists. Max. Some of them are well-known. Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Elizabeth Moss, Danny Masterson.
Oh.
Yeah, who's in jail forever now.
Yeah.
A note about Elizabeth Moss. Elizabeth Moss is a second-generation Scientologist, which, again, people are always like, you can't be in Handmaid's Tale and be a Scientologist. And I'm like, that's all she knows.
Yeah.
Again, like, she grew up with this. Like, so, like, I have a little more empathy for Elizabeth Moss than most people do. She didn't just, like, join up and get rich and famous because of it, you know?
Yeah.
This is an insane thing. I'm going to ruin your day.
No.
You know who Danny Masterson's brother is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Christopher Masterson, who plays
Francis in Malcolm in the Middle,
is a known and devout Scientologist.
Yeah.
Again,
my dog Francis is named after Francis from Malcolm in the Middle.
I know. And Max just rewatched all of it. And every time he came on the screen, Max sighed. She loves him. He's the best. He's the best character.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, also maybe a good person. Who knows?
Yeah. To be clear, this isn't a list of bad people. This is a list of people who are Scientologists.
Who are Scientologists. He's also a second generation Scientologist.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all of his siblings are in it, as are his parents, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so Francis, Malcolm in the Middle. Also, Jenna Elfman. This one surprised me. Fox News anchor Greta Van Susteren.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, because you didn't grow up watching Fox News. My parents are in a whole... Guys, my parents are in a whole different cult. But Greta Van Susteren, that surprised me. She's a Fox News anchor. Giovanni Ribisi and Jason Doring, which that felt like it ruined my day. He's Logan from Veronica Mars, and I have the biggest crush on him, and I'm mad.
Oh.
Anyway, Scientology just ruined days. Some celebrities who have since left the church. They include Beck, Juliette Lewis, John Stamos, and Jeffrey Tambor.
Huh.
Yeah. Surprising.
John Stamos.
John Stamos. And that's all I know about Scientology.
I saw that line on the back.
It ends with, and that's all I know about Scientology.
Yeah, that's in her notes. And then underneath it says notes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now after I finish that.
You do know other stuff about Scientology?
It's not what I know, it's an opinion.
Okay.
We've talked about this before. And it is relevant in specifically what I just said about my parents being in a different kind of cult, right? We talk all the time about, like, well, after, like, dunking on Scientology, it's not that big of a deal. Okay. So the documentary makes a point that people aren't given the backstory of Xenu, the galactic overlord, until they are years in and have already paid hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
Right? They have dealt at this point with being trafficked. They have given up their children. They have abused other people. They have broken the law. They have confessed to all of these crimes and have it being like they are fully in it. They cannot go back, right? They've already seen and accepted such crazy things. So when they get the insane backstory that there's like alien souls inside of you and Xenu the Overlord was throwing people into volcanoes, they can't just say, oh, wait, that doesn't make sense, and then leave the religion. Right. Yeah. And that is, I think, a really good, also a very good point and a description of people who are such intense followers of Trump. And I'm not even saying like conservative people. I mean like the people who like Trump can do no wrong. They can't just say like, oh, wait, he didn't release the Epstein files. That must mean he's in them and he's actually lying. I know that the media is telling us that a bunch of people are no longer Trump supporters because of the Epstein files, but I don't believe that. I also don't believe that they are, if they are saying, well, that's shitty, I don't believe that that's going to last for them. And I say that as somebody who was raised by extreme conservatives who I love dearly. They're not going to turn it around. They're not going to say suddenly, like, I'm no longer a Trump supporter. They're not going to say that's shady. Because if they admit one thing is off, then they have to reconcile with how much they've supported up to this point. And it's like a house of cards. It will all come crashing down. So, like, I guess that was my note, was that watching the things about this cult and hearing what people were saying about it and how much they allowed to happen, I'm like, it makes sense to me in a sad way. It kind of like, I'm like, yeah, we see that happening currently, you know?
Yeah. I think there are a couple of concepts that I've like learned over the course of my life that have changed how I understand people. And one of them is the sunk cost fallacy. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very much the same thing of like, sometimes if you pause and you take stock of your life, you realize that, oh shit, it's bad. But if you look through all of the little steps leading up to it, it's like, no, this makes sense and this is fine and this is fine and everything like that. But at the same time, it doesn't get better. Continuing to do the sunk cost fallacy, the idea that like if you've put a lot into something, then it's worth it to continue putting into it.
Yeah.
Versus
you've already put this much into it. If you stop now before you hit whatever goal you're trying to reach, you could reach it the next time you do this thing.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, all of this has been wasted. It's not a waste.
No, it's not. But it's hard to get yourself out of that.
It is.
I do think that just every single day I have to wrestle with a bunch of stuff in my own life, you know, and a bunch of like the people that I love the most in this world, and have to like actively be like, I know this isn't just a disagreement. It's not a political difference, but also I also have to reconcile with like, I'm not cutting people out of my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like a constant thing.
Yeah, you have to
I went to therapy for. So like, don't worry.
Yes.
But but that's what it reminds me about. Like a lot of the stuff in Scientology, hearing them talk about how by the time they got to the point where with Xenu, the galactic overlord, that is so fucking left field from what they were actually going to. But was it?
But also, I mean, like the courses that were in there were like debugging programs for product or something like that. Like it seems very like sane and rational.
Dianetics, again, that's why when he started with Dianetics, a lot of it makes sense. It
Yeah.
doesn't not make sense.
Yeah.
I almost bought Dianetics, not off the site. Okay, I also didn't get any of my research from the Scientology website. I refused to click on any actual Scientology links. I also made a very big point of not having any, of trying really hard not to include any sources written by Scientologists or people who are affiliated with Scientologists in a way.
Yeah.
This was the first time that the research that I did had to be really specific.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that could be even a little bit considered like coming from Scientology was getting that chart, which is a good visual just to understand what's happening. But yeah, it takes a lot though, because they control a lot of things. You know? But yeah, Scientology.
The signs that you are in a cult. There are a couple of discrete signs that like you can, there's a list online that you can look up.
Look up the list.
Okay.
Look up the list and read the list. I want to hear it.
So there's a bunch of research into like the concept of cults and the psychological effects, how to deprogram people from cults and everything. It's a whole field of study that has a lot of research behind it.
Yeah.
There are a couple of like basic tenets that you can usually use to say, oh, this is a cult.
I'm in a cult.
Yeah. I have like a couple of different lists, but they all have basically the same points to them. It's like, oh, here are the 10 signs, here are the 6 signs. This is the 6 signs from expert Steve Eichel, who is a psychologist and an international cult expert.
Cool.
And president of the International Cultic Studies Association.
Cool.
It's a really interesting article that I'm just breezing through. I've read a lot of like similar stuff, but I can't entirely endorse this because I'm just reading this right now. But what constitutes a cult? Eichel listed several factors. Beware of any kind of pressure. That's probably the single most important advice I can give anyone. Any kind of pressure to make a quick decision about becoming involved in any intensive kind of activity or organization.
Yeah.
This is also something that they talk about with our info security training at work, where a lot of they will use the pressure of like a time sensitive requirement to force you into making a mistake, where someone will call and be like, hi, it's so-and-so from HR. I'm trying to process your paycheck and I'm having trouble because I think your social security number is wrong or something like it wouldn't be this obvious, but it's like, I think your social security number is wrong. And so if you can just give that to me really quickly, and I need to actually get this processed right now, or else we're gonna have to wait until the next paycheck, and it's gonna be a whole bunch of extra stuff. So just go ahead and give me your social security number.
Yeah, or
and
the fake IRS calls that are like, "You're going to jail until I get this. If you don't do this, you think I'm joking? You're going to jail." And people are just panicking, like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
I need this literally right now. If I get off this phone, then you're going to jail."
Yeah, that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
Be wary of any leader who proclaims him or herself as having special powers or special insight.
Fucking David Miscavige.
And of course,
and
divinity.
L. Ron Hubbard. They use the word God about L. Ron Hubbard. They do. Yeah. And they have his picture and they talk to him. They hold birthday celebrations for him. Yeah.
The group is closed, so in other words, although there may be outside followers, there's usually an inner circle that follows the leader without question and that maintains a tremendous amount of secrecy.
The Sea Org.
Yep. The group uses deceptive means typically to recruit new members, and then once recruited will subject its members to an organized program of thought reform, or what most people refer to as brainwashing.
Everything about them, actually. Yep. That's the whole tenet of auditing.
Mm-hmm. Typical cults also exploit their members, mostly financially.
Okay, wait, hold on really quickly. I forgot to put it in there. On top of, the fact that you're paying $250,000 to be in this cult to begin with. Mm-hmm. And when they got tax exempt, they gained all that money back, right? Like they could do it. They also started pressuring all of their members to make donations. And they were like, no, we need donations. And they were like, whoa. And they were like, no, that's really important. And they would just come and be like, come on. Like, we got all these lawsuits because they realized that they could be sued. And so they were like, just for the legal fees, it's good for the program. Come on, it's good for the program. And people were donating millions of dollars.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Typically, cults also exploit their members, mostly financially. Within the group, they'll exploit members financially, psychologically, emotionally, and all too often sexually.
There's a lot of stories of Scientology exploiting women.
Yeah.
I didn't even include the shit that they did with Tom Cruise. He was like, I need a girlfriend. And they had a girl who they literally were like, you're going to be his girlfriend. They got her to break up with her boyfriend by sharing his auditing sessions with her. Yeah.
Jesus. And lastly, a very important aspect of cult is the idea that if you leave the cult, horrible things will happen to you. This is important, and it's important to realize that people outside of a cult are potential members, so they're not looked upon as negatively as people inside the cult who then leave the cult.
Yeah.
Which is to say, like, if you leave the cult,
It's worse than if you're outside criticizing, because they could still pull you in.
Yes. Which is really horrible.
Yeah.
But also the idea that you can't leave because of some repercussion or something like that. That is a sign of that like exerted pressure and control that is also a sign of a cult, where it's like, if something is as good as it is being depicted as, oh, it's saving you, and like, oh, you're welcome, and you're so lucky to be here and everything like that, then you should be able to leave.
Yeah.
It should be something that they're lucky to have another spot that they can give to someone else. If it's that you can't leave because something horrible will happen and they just can't, that's...
If they're chasing you down the street when you and your baby get into a getaway car, you're in a cult.
That's a pretty good sign that you're in a cult.
It's a pretty good sign that you're in a cult. If you're being thrown into a place called The Hole for 7 years.
Yeah. Honestly, like, the biggest thing is, like, if you can't leave, that's a problem. In everything. In, like, every single thing. It's not about, like, oh, you have to leave, or, like, oh, but, like...
Yeah.
I think there's a certain amount of claustrophobia that I think is healthy, of like, if suddenly you start feeling like you can't leave, it's worthwhile to interrogate why you feel like that and what the benefit is of preventing you from leaving, and, you know, how much of your understanding of the situation is based on what has been told to you by the people who are trying to prevent you leaving. Like,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah. That makes me think of domestic violence situations.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's all like exertions of power and control, and the idea that no matter how bad it is, it could always be worse. And it could also always be a lot better.
Yeah. John Travolta, if you're listening.
John Travolta.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't think John Travolta is evil. And I do think that you could get out now and tell everybody that you're gay and you're proud. You might not be gay. If you're not gay, I'm sorry.
If you're not gay, don't tell people that you're gay.
Yeah, it's not great if you do that. But you know what? Just like John Travolta, like, leave and help yourself and others. I do think that Tom Cruise is evil. Tom Cruise seems legitimate evil. In the documentary, they talk about how at this point, the person who should be leading the charge against Scientology should be Tom Cruise. I don't think he'll ever do it, but
no,
he's too far gone. But still. But yeah. Good. I liked hearing that. We'll link that in the show notes.
Yeah, but also, there are a bunch of really interesting books about like the psychology of cults. And a lot of it is the same psychology of like domestic abuse and like the reason why people are in marriages that they hate. Yeah. And like all that kind of stuff. And like if you're in a job that you hate for like 40 years, it's the same kind of thing of like, yes, it's bad, but it could be worse. Yeah. And the reminder is always, but it could also be better. Yeah. So yeah, it takes a lot of bravery to say that it could be worse, but it could also be better. And yeah.
So guys, that's Scientology. That's everything I know about Scientology.
I know so much more about Scientology now.
Do you feel like you're better for it or crazy? Those are your only two options.
Honestly, I feel less crazy than I expected to feel at the end of this.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
But I also did do that whole Illuminati episode.
That's true.
Where it turns out that the Illuminati that we understand is based on a bunch of sci-fi novels that the guy from Playboy was like, I'm going to convince people that these are a fact.
That's basically exactly what Scientology ended up being. Turns out every cult is just a bunch of sci-fi novels.
It's just a bunch of nerds.
Nerds! All right, guys. Well, once again, I would just like to say that all of this is alleged. Yes. And it's hearsay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly to all of it. And I don't want to hear from any Scientologists or any lawyers. Thank you. Yes. That'll keep lawyers off my back, right? If I tell them I don't want to talk to them.
Lawyers do not interact.
Yeah. Leave us alone. Thank you. Not interested. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. If you're one of the good lawyers and you think that I need help, reach out to the secret email.
The secret email?
Don't worry about it.
Oh my God.
If you want to chat with us about this episode, send us a text if you would like. If you have little thoughts, I'll put them on our stories.
You can also big thoughts. You can also tell us those.
How big?
800 feet tall.
Yeah, 800 feet tall, wearing 200 feet heels. Go ahead and you're going to want to email those to us at sortofthestory@gmail.com. You can also talk to us on Discord. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about it. Thank you at The Regular Devil for this prompt. But yeah, chat with us on Discord by joining the Patreon at the $3 or $7 level. You can also join our Instagram. I'll put some pictures up there. Our Facebook, technically, even though we don't know how that works.
Yeah.
It's alive though. It's there.
If you have a Facebook but not an Instagram, you can use the Facebook to pretend that you're on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you want that.
I don't know. Do you want that? Let us know. And leave us a 5-star review, please. Oh my God. What if we get a bunch of Scientologists reviewing us?
That would honestly, that would be very on brand for us.
Oh God. I'm not going to lie. If a bunch of Scientologists review us and we still have like 300 views on the Twilight Puppet musical, I'll myself. That was a joke. That wasn't allegedly. Okay. I love you guys so much. Don't join a cult.
Don't join a cult.
And that's it. Bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Testing.
Testing.
Hey.
Max, you look very cute right now. Your hair looks adorable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very cute.
You are. You're super cute. You're also like full of like a lot less blood than you were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why'd you agree to do this?
It's good.
I basically begged. You know what I've been doing?
Oh, this episode?
Yeah. Why'd you agree to do this?
Oh, I thought you meant, why did I agree to give blood? And I was like, because it's like,
it's a nice thing,
it's
Jamie.
a nice thing to do.
You shouldn't let them steal your blood, Max.
I'm giving it to them.
Your blood. You grew that yourself.
I really almost canceled, and I'm really glad I didn't, because also they make arrangements for people who are doing platelets. They have to have like a specific kind of tech there.
Yeah.
And I got there, and the tech who was there specifically for my scheduled platelet donation had to drive in from Atlanta.
Oh, fuck.
I was like, oh, glad I didn't cancel.
Oh, that's a good thing to know. Jesus.
Yep.
Man. Terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I've been doing all day?
Well,
I have been watching videos of tow truck drivers in LA. Have you seen this? How, like, apparently they now set up a thing where if you call them and are like, there's a... Well, I think they do commissions for anybody, which is gross.
Yeah.
But now people are just like, there's an ICE car that's parked illegally outside of this hospital. And they're like, we're on our way.
Good.
And they will like pay you to report ICE so that they can go and tow their fucking car, their unmarked vehicles.
Fuck yes.
I love it. I love it.
I also love it.
In times of great stress, there are little things where I'm like, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Humans unite. We're fun.